All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Discussing Tabletop. We'll see if 6 o'clock's a good time for it in the evening. You know, I'm trying out to see about changing the time, making it a little better. The 2 o'clock time period, it was fine for all the time we had it. It honestly can change. But,
Yeah.
you know, it is, of course, the 1st of October. Happy October, everybody.
Spooky month.
Yeah,
It's
spooky
Halloween,
month.
guys.
I mean, we're starting with the spookiest thing of all. Terrible decisions by wizards.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, God.
Got a pretty big docket today. A lot of these topics are probably going to be smaller topics, except for a few of them. And we got a very interesting, deeper discussion topic because it's related to the one last week that we talked about. So, let's get into the big old elephant in the room as I throw this docket into chat if you're live with
I
us.
was not ready to do that.
It's
Yes.
a gigantic document.
This
things.
huge old document that was up from D&D Beyond, of course, as it is for one D&D at this point in time.
Yeah.
I will throw this into chat also. It'll be in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. It is the class up. It's classes, feats, and spells update.
Yeah,
More of
and we have the expert classes. There are two things I'm going to start up before I even mention any of the classes. Class groups are a thing now.
Okay.
What a class group does is, the way it reads is feats and certain items are going to be locked to a class group, which is fine.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think that's
Depending on
fine.
how they do the feats.
Depending
Yeah.
on how the feats are done. What I think kind of the problem of with the groups is in 5e you kind of have this thing of like almost any combination of shit can work. I think this is going to take that away. I think it's going to
You
fall
might.
back into the classic rogue, wizard, fighter, whatever the other one is. Cleric.
Cleric?
Yeah. It's going to fall back into that classic thing. Which I don't like when D&D relies on that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like how it's the one thing that I say, like, Pathfinder first edition, because we've been doing that, in a way relies on that, but there's a lot of classes that can fill that while being something else.
Yeah.
You know,
Pathfinder first edition, you could be like, you have the hybrid class, still multiple roles, and then you have, like, cleric has archetypes and domains to make it fill another role, right? So they're modular.
Yeah, and a lot of other classes have that. They have more modular things that you can kind of fill spaces for. Certain ones, of course, are like, fighter's just a melee dude, but even in 5th edition, fighter's just a melee dude.
Fighter is just a melee dude because the archery fighter sucks.
Not Pathfinder. But, so, okay.
Tree Fighter in 5e is really good.
Well, there's the subclass for it.
Oh, the subclass for it, yeah. The subclass for it's actually bad.
Just being like any other fighter with a bow, great.
Yeah, you just play the Battle Master or whatever and have cause some of the...
yeah, just be a battle master with a bow, or be like samurai with a bow, because you get the advantage thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the idea of being an archer is good. The idea of being the archer subclass, terrible.
Yeah, Arcane Archer Fighter is not great.
So what are we have? We the Bard, Ranger, and Rogue?
Yeah, Bard, Ranger, Rogue. The expert classes, because they get expertise. Interesting. They mention, for some reason, they mention on here Artificer, which doesn't get expertise. So I'm guessing Artificer's probably going to get expertise. Which honestly, that kind of makes sense.
Okay, so mages are sorcerer, warlock, wizard, priests are cleric, paladin, druid, warriors are barbarian, monk, fighter.
Yeah. It feels like old mindset for
The thing is,
D&D,
okay.
kind of.
It does. And it doesn't feel as good as, like, I'm going to tell you, this is a weird thing. When they still had archetypes, the last time they did it, 4th edition, it was a lot better.
Yeah.
Because all they did was, like, it was like strikers, who were meant to do big damage very quickly, defenders, who were meant to be, like, kind of tank characters, leaders who had like a lot of like crowd control buffing abilities, and I forget the last one off the top of my head. But they had like archetypes that fit like what a team might have rather than it's a class.
Yeah, archetypes kind of like let you be a little different sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
You know,
it was more
also
interesting.
though, 4th edition like kind of wasn't D&D though.
No, it
No.
wasn't. It was 4th edition was a war game.
Yeah, so like
well-
the archetypes mattered a bit in that. Where
I think it's the idea that sorry to interrupt, but I think it's the idea that there are ideas that are betterly executed there. As I've said before, 4th edition, yes, is very different, but it had some good ideas.
I think 4th edition is ultimately fine.
Yeah.
It's just, don't go expecting 3.5.
No.
yeah,
or
because it's
5e.
not.
It's not. It's completely different. The other general change I'll talk about here is they have this little blurb. Capstones are all level 18 now. At level 20, you get an epic boon, which is, I think that's fine. That just standardizes the level up a bit.
Okay. All right. We were complaining about the bard as we started because I hadn't had a chance to read over it.
So
It's a thing.
I have a lot of problems with this class because Bard is my favorite class in a lot of systems. I love being okay at everything and not amazing at anything. I love that kind of character, right? They've kind of taken that away.
Yeah. I'm going to say something here that's a little outside of some stuff for a second here, just because, honestly, they do have a couple abilities still good.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like some of the changes that they have to step back feel like they've stepped even farther back than 3rd edition Bard. And 3rd edition Bard was there. It was one that was okay to play because it still buffed the shit out of your team, but it had big issues.
Oh yeah, I already remember 3rd edition Bard because that was I think the only 3rd edition character I played was the Bard.
You had like Bard Song, you had a little bit of support spells and stuff, but you'd fall way behind for like a wizard or sorcerer.
But yeah, the first like big change for Bard is their spell casting.
Yeah,
they're prepared now,
which is weird.
Which is to me is weird.
It's different than they've always been.
Bard's never been a prepared caster.
Yeah.
You get the arcane spell list, which is the wizard spell list, basically. But you're locked to 4 schools of magic, none of which are that good.
The thing is, like,
enchantment and illusion, to me, are the only 2 here that I think I would ever use, because I don't care for divination or transmutation.
The thing about it is I think the nature of bards in a lot of old classes, because, like, yes, they usually specialize in enchantment but illusion, and they that I will tell you, majority of their spells fit under those, but they had stuff which fit outside of there occasionally that added to their, toolbox of I'm a Swiss Army knife of magic.
Yeah.
We don't have that anymore.
No. You're locked to 4 schools. That's kind of shit. The next big change. I'm trying to see if there's anything more in spellcasters. Not really. Your standard prepared caster.
Song of Restoration, they changed to something useful. That's where you get the healing spells, but I'm sorry, it's like...
It's not enough.
You get Healing Word, Lesser Restoration, Mass Healing Word, Freedom of Movement, and Greater Restoration.
It's not great healing spells. They have their uses, but...
Yeah, but I'm sorry, that was another thing, is a lot of times bards were in that kind of funny area where they got a little bit of divine-based spells into their list, and by only having the lists that they have, the 3 lists they have, they're cutting out that. It's one of those things that Pathfinder 2nd Edition did. They're like, hey, bards and other things like that have their own unique list. Occult. It's its own thing. It's somewhere like
I
in
think
between the two.
Witch gets a cult as well.
Yeah, because
Witch also gets a cult.
It's supposed to be kind of in between divine and arcane in this kind of weird area, which honestly, somatically makes sense that there's something like that. You drop that out, where you're just, what the fuck, you know?
Now, see, it's fine that you get these garbage healing spells, because if I scroll back up a bit, you get this sweet bardic inspiration heal, but you only get like 2 of them for a long ass time. So I don't know why you would ever use it to heal.
7th levels where you can get them back as a short rest. Oh, there is a short rest.
Oh, short rests aren't gone.
Here's a short rest. Okay.
It's the first time it's mentioned. I just found it.
Yeah, I haven't seen short rest mentioned like anywhere else.
Yeah, font of bardic inspiration, finish a short rest or a long rest.
Hey,
fair enough.
So they're not completely gone. They're just not mentioned at all so far.
Yeah.
I mean, the magical secrets at that point in time, that's neat, but I feel like it's like, you're when you're 11th level, if you're taking that, you're correcting problems with the class rather than,
Yes.
Rather than adding something neat that you didn't have before.
The thing I take the most issue with, the thing that offends me the most, is someone who's played Bard for a long ass time. Bards are the character that is amazing at nothing, but is okay at literally everything in the game. You get Jack of all trades kind of late for when it would be super useful.
Oh, it's 5th level.
It's 5th level now.
Oh. Yeah. When was it before?
2nd, I believe.
I have
Bard. Yeah, Jack of all trades was 2nd level before.
Wow.
It's 5th level now. This, and instead they give Bard some expertise. Winch Bard did get expertise, but they got it later.
Yeah, they got it at like 2nd or 3rd level.
I think they got it at 3rd.
Oh wow! So they dropped it.
Yeah, they get it at 3rd.
They dropped it 1 level and then moved the Jack of all trades out of the way.
Yeah. To me, this kind of feels like they want Bard to be a little more of a specialized character with certain skills, but that's never kind of been Bard's thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine, because honestly, if you're playing a Bard, you're only going to use your charisma skills that often. But it is nice to be able to roll literally anything.
So, Bard Inspiration, now reaction, now only number of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the shit, I could also use it to heal ability.
Yeah, you get a heal.
I'm fine with a subclass adding another use, but I'm sorry, you don't have enough uses for all these things.
No, you have 2 uses until like level 5.
If it recovered on short rest immediately, I think it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of abilities that are tied to proficiency bonus now to kind of make them more like, hey, I can use this more often. Because a lot of them are like,
you get better.
You get like the original Dragonborn breath. You got 1.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was absolutely garbage. Then they tie it to proficiency bonus, so it's like, oh, well now you have 2, but your proficiency bonus levels up over time, so you get more of your Dragon's breath.
Yeah.
But like having it go from potentially 3 to 4 at the start of the game to 2 for half of your game, because let's be honest, most games don't go to level 20.
No.
Yeah.
So they've also provided a little example of the spells you would take as a Bard as you level up down here. And looking at the recommended ones, it doesn't feel good.
It feels
there's so much missing.
I think what it is it feels generic Bard, like very generic.
Yeah.
Like this
is your basic Bard. This is Baby's first Bard.
Yeah, it's Baby's first Bard, which I mean is fine for recommendations.
Yeah. It's a simple recommendation. Again, I don't think we have the full spell lists yet.
Yeah.
I don't think they've made them, but
I don't know.
Being locked to those 4 skills is really going to take a lot away from Bard's usefulness, because again, Dispel and Counterspell, those were big things for Bard.
Yeah, and those are Abjuration, I believe.
Yeah, those are both abjuration.
I don't know why you take abjuration away from bard. That seems weird.
I would replace divination with abjuration, honestly.
Divination I can kind of see, but like abjuration is much better overall.
Yeah, I mean, I can make a case for probably, honestly, any school works for bard logically.
Yeah, the only two that I could maybe like give a good reason to get rid of: evocation and necromancy.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Those two don't make a lot of
definitely.
sense for bard.
Yeah.
But everything else, like
The only thing though is not Pathfinder. In 5e, healing spells are evocation.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you can't really
Forgot they did that.
can't take a lot of heal. You can't really take healing aside from what they give you, which means, hey, that's another thing Bard can't do. Bard was great at being, the role filling class of, hey, we don't have a cleric,
You can
but
play
we need
bard.
some skill sets with Bard, right? Can't do that anymore.
Or we don't have a rogue. Hey, you play a bard.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a weird point. Let's talk about the Ranger.
Ranger, I think, is fine because it's really hard to make Ranger worse.
Yeah.
Does it take the lessons at least from the improved cautious bar?
Yeah,
Ranger?
so they get expertise at level 1, which is amazing. Favorite enemy is you just have...
it's like a free hunter's
mark. You use free hunter's mark.
Okay.
Like actual free.
You just get hunter's mark.
It's not
really
concentration
good.
anymore. I think you can just do it as many times as you want or something, or maybe it's proficiency bonus times.
It doesn't say a limit.
Yeah, it's like really good.
That's like really good. I like that. There are primal spellcasters that get Druid list, more or less.
I mean, that's fine.
They've kind of always done a watered down Druid list, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fighting style.
Was there something they didn't make good about it? I thought there was one small thing that was like.
I think the hunter subclass is still bad.
Ah, that's what it was.
Which, yeah.
Because
still good fighting styles. Still good
I know
attack.
Classic Beastmaster was awful, and they have a revived Beastmaster, which is like decent. But there was one of them. I don't remember which one it was. That was the only good one from Core Book. It was the one that gave you like the fighting style, so you can get
I have it pulled up right now. I can check.
Yeah, I never closed my books, so I could technically go and click on it.
The only two from Place Input are Hunter and Beastmaster.
Maybe it was Hunter then, because like you had like the Giant Slayer and Swarm Fighter or something.
Yeah,
those were really good, but they were tied to the basic Ranger, which wasn't that great.
Yeah. So other than that, they get a movement increase at level 7, which I think that's fine.
It's neat.
You still get the weird. You get a weird invisibility thing at level 13.
Is that like the hide in plain sight kind of thing?
Kind of. Bonus action, expend a spell slot to become invisible until the end of your next turn.
I'm gonna check what hide in plain sight is because I have both open.
Hide in plain sight is basically
it's better hide in plain sight because hide in plain sight is just +10.
Yeah, I mean that's neat. That's good. I mean like
yeah. Oh, Nature's Veil was an optional rule added in Tasha's anyways.
Yeah, I think hide in plain sight also didn't require you to have any concealment, where normally you have to have at least light concealment.
Yep. You get blind sense at level 15, 30 feet of it.
Pretty good.
Your hunter's mark at level 18. The capstone is an extra D10. It's all right. At level 18, that boost isn't really gonna matter at level 18 that much, but
no.
As for like the subclass, I never played a hunter, but right now it seems when you hit an enemy, you deal extra damage.
Nifty. You know.
And what's this thing? Get a weird multi-attack thing.
Let's check, of course, our good old rogue. The multi-attack thing, I was looking at that. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know what that means because that's not multi-attack.
It has to be mistype, whatever it's supposed to be.
It might be. I mean, I don't know what Conjure Barrage is. That's not a spell I know because I don't think that's a 5e spell.
Unless they've added
I think that's a new spell. I'd have to search that one out.
Let's see here. Cunning action still. Did you get cunning action at second level still? Or was
Yes.
it- okay.
Yeah. Let me pull up current rogue.
Tactician Guide and
Because
hide.
level 1 rogue, you got expertise and sneak attack and stuff. Level 2, you got cunning, and level 3, you had your
When you have
subclass.
advantage
Yeah.
attack, at least one of your allies is within 5 feet of the target, and the ally is incapacitated, and you don't have disadvantage on the attack roll. You can sneak attack it.
Sounds
once
like
per
basic
turn.
sneak attack.
Sneak attack's unchanged. Yeah. Thieves can't. I think you get more languages.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you don't just get thieves can't. You get
Yeah, because
like
they
a bunch of
got
other
rid
languages.
of the language things.
Yeah, languages are weird now.
Because they like got rid of druid as a language, and they got rid of thieves can as a language or something.
Yeah, you've got standard cunning action isn't really changed.
Uncanny dodge is the same.
Yeah, uncanny dodge is the same. Expertise is out the wazoo. Evasion, it literally isn't changed either. I think.
I think rogue got 2 expertises.
I think they got more
And base.
expertise. Yeah. So rogue, I'm looking at the table. Rogue gets 1. I think 2. Yeah, let me look. Where's expertise at? Yeah, rogue gets 2 expertise in base.
Still
You get
2.
one at 1 at 6.
They put it to 7th then. 1 at 7th is the other time.
I think that's whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
Subtle strikes.
It's
It gives you more chance to sneak attack.
yeah.
You
Sounds
gain.
like the swashbuckler thing.
You gain. Yeah, it's basically you gain at 15th. You gain wisdom and charisma saving throw proficiency. So you have
Wow.
4 proficient saving throws as rogue, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
17th. No attack roll has advantage against you unless you're incapacitated.
That's pretty strong.
You just never get advantaged.
Huh.
And then at 18th, if you fail a d20 test, you can turn it into a 20.
Did they make rogue even more powerful?
Granted, it's high level rogue, which no game ever gets to.
Yeah,
But I just want to compare this, right? Rogue, you get the ability to just turn a fail into a 20.
Yeah, a crit
Ranger
success.
gets a d10
Once per
damage.
short rate. That's once per short rest. Okay, still.
And
But
Ranger gets an extra d10 of damage at that level.
That's, I guess, per attack on the hit, at least.
It feels a little unbalanced.
yeah, and then what Bard is when you roll initiative, you get 2 uses of your Bardic Inspiration. So it means if you can't do a short rest, you get some extra Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It does
I guess at high level bard, you'd be
I mean,
spending
it is
inspiration more.
It is also basically it's basically a reworked version of what Rogue already got at 20th, but it's like a little bit less good.
Oh God, I forgot that Thief sucks.
Thief, it always sucked. However,
it wasn't great.
Cast Hands, I believe, is like really bad. No, let me pull up Thief.
You can take a search action as a bonus action, or you can disarm or pick a lock as a bonus action.
That's like worse than what it usually is, because Cast Hands is you can use your bonus action granted by cunning action to make a sleight of hand check, use a thieves tools, or use an object interaction. Right? That's just worse in the new version.
Okay, because it's mostly the same, except just they kind of took off one part of it.
Oh, you get climb speed, and you can be better at jumping. 2 things that never come up.
Yeah, climb speed doesn't happen very often unless you allow it to happen.
Advantage on sneak. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Although
yeah,
I think
pretty strong.
they already had that, but I think that's
use magic device. You can attune up to 4 magic items.
That's pretty good. And then Thieves' Reflexes are...
you can now take a second bonus action on your turn, provided it's a bonus action from cunning action.
Okay.
Which is situationally good?
That's situationally good, that's fine.
Yeah, so it's basically like you can...
Fast Hands got fucked.
Yeah, Fast Hands got fucked. I mean, use magic device, that's fine. The Supreme Sneak, that's fine.
Yeah.
Thief's Reflexes, fine. Like you have to fight your way to a point where Thief is like
your
half
level.
useful.
Your level. You're not going to be. Thief is not going to be decent until level 6.
And even then, like advantage on stealth, it's still very situational when you can actually like use that a lot.
Yeah.
And it really depends on where you're at.
Yep. Then we got the feats. I think the feats are fine. They're just upgraded and reworded with a level attached to them and some more prerequisites. I think they're fine. Athlete is like gives you climb speed. Again, that doesn't really ever come up. Actor, I think is basically the same.
Hey, actor! Why did I
big thing? Actor. The big thing, and we can talk about why this is a big thing later. Crossbow expert and sharpshooter don't work anymore. It's not broken anymore because you don't get damage from sharpshooter anymore. It's not deadly aim. It's just spell sniper now.
That's like the thing we'll talk about when we talk about our week in tabletop.
And kind of how crossbow expert is worded. It kind of more implies you're not supposed to be dual wielding the crossbows.
You didn't have to either.
Yeah, it's more like it's now the more implication of hey, you can, but like the wording on this is you don't.
Because usually it's what is it? It's the way it's worded normally is you don't need to. Because you have basically as a bonus action you can attack, and you don't have the penalties for reloading.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't need to anyway.
Yeah, I think these are two very needed changes, honestly, because crossbow expert and sharpshooter is known to be
Pretty
really
gross.
disgusting for a very long time.
Yep.
Defensive duelists is cool. You could parry. You can add your.
Is that for like 2-weapon fighting?
No, I'm pretty sure this used to be a fighting style or something.
Yeah,
right?
but I was
or a maneuver. I
was curious if they added it to like the 2-weapon fighting.
Don't
Because 2-weapon fighting in
it just states if you're holding a finesse weapon and you make a melee attack. So I think this could be used with 2-weapon fighting.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. So it's like an extra thing.
I'm sorry. I just read durable and they made it.
Oh, durable is so good now.
It's good.
Yeah.
Because it was garbage before.
Durable is amazing.
Now you can just spend your hit dice to heal.
Oh my god. Durable
it's good now.
So good now.
Wow.
Yep. I mean, the Star Wars 5e made it slightly better, but it was still based off the regular 5e one, which isn't great. And now it's just kind of like, you can just heal with short rest while in combat, and like, this is amazing.
Yeah. There's these epic boons listed. They're a little disappointing, but epic boons have kind of always been a little disappointing.
You get proficiency in all skills, man. At 20th level,
a couple
that's
of them
very
that
useful.
There's a couple of them that are like really good, but you get these when you're done. You get these when you've won D&D.
Yeah.
That's the only thing about epic boons is unless you like actually have like epic adventures that you can design, it's not really worth it, and they don't have those. So it's sort of like, why?
The other interesting thing is you can just take a fighting style as a feat now if you're the warrior group.
I guess Ranger can take one, it says. Yeah.
Yeah, Ranger can take one. So, like, you could be a fighter with multiple fighting styles now.
Hell yeah. I mean, that was a feat before.
Pretty good. Yeah, it's basically they've taken that feat and kind of just split it up into multiple feats.
Which is, like, probably fine.
It's, like, mostly identical, just the different wording.
Yeah.
Grappler, the implication of this is you don't need a feat to restrain people anymore when you grapple, because there's no mention of that in Grappler anymore.
That's so nice.
Inspiring Leader is like basically the same. Keen Mind.
They gave you an expertise instead of like whatever the hell it was. I think it was like you just perfectly remember shit.
Keen Mind is you remember stuff up to a month, which means I hope you're taking notes, buddy.
Yeah, because the DM, it's not on the DM to remember things for you. You make those notes.
Well, and now it's instead if you get proficiency in a skill, or if you already have proficiency in like one of the kind of knowledge-y skills, you get expertise in it. That seems fine. I like that better.
Yep. I mean the armored feats are like
they're armored feats.
They're still here.
Yeah.
I mean they're okay.
Mage Slayer, I think, got better because you They tacked on the guard mind ability. If you fail an int, whiz, or charisma saving throw, you can once per day choose to just succeed it, which I think is really good for Mage Slayer.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because Mage Slayer has always been kind of that.
Yeah.
It's kind of bad.
Let's hear it.
It's one of those things that it sounds cool in theory, and then you read it, and it's like,
got
oh,
it's got like the coolest name.
Yeah, it's got a cool name.
Kind of bad.
And its actual abilities are like, well, I guess those are okay, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're fine if you fight a lot of mages, but it's really bad compared to other feats. Like, honestly.
Let's hear it.
Observant, you get expertise.
Yeah. Resilient is the same, but I mean it's fine.
Sentinel's basically the same.
Yeah.
Ritual caster. So, to my knowledge, at least this is a rumor I heard, they might be getting rid of the ritual casting class feature and just letting everyone do it.
Mm-hmm.
But they just know this feat. I don't know if that's true or not.
Oh, no. Well, the thing is, I think this one still could be useful, because what it is if you choose 2 spells that have the ritual tag, you always have them prepared and can cast them with any slots you have.
That's still pretty good, yeah.
And
that's actually nice.
And then quick ritual is you cast a ritual spell you have prepared using its regular casting time rather than expend it. Okay, so yeah, you can speed a ritual. Good. Yeah.
That's good.
Still, like, really good, yeah.
And you can only do that once per long rest, but you can quick ritual something, and it doesn't use a spell slot. So it's basically you get extra free. So yeah, it sounds like they got rid of ritual casting, and which
is good because it makes sorcerer better, honestly.
But honestly,
in games I run, I just let sorcerers ritual cast, and I just give them the wizard list. Honestly,
I gotta be honest though, but like this just feels like it makes it that you specialize in ritual casting. That's not bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Sharpshooter's the other big one. It's spell sniper, but for bows, no. It's no longer plus 10 damage.
That's probably for the best.
Honestly, sharpshooter is like one of the most. I've seen like so many instances of sharpshooter being just disgusting. That I just hate the feat so much.
It'd be pretty disgusting.
Shieldmaster is like, I think the same.
Yeah.
I don't really have never taken shield fights. Skulker, I don't know if you have blindsight with Skulker before.
Make attack roll while hidden. The attack roll misses. Making an attack roll doesn't end the hidden condition. Okay. I mean, the sniper is pretty good. Is if you miss your attack, you don't lose your hidden. If you're doing like a sniper build, that's pretty good.
That's really good if you are the rogue assassin.
Yeah.
With their execution ability.
Yeah. Speedster, I mean, that's fine. You get more speed, and you can dash over difficult terrain without extra movement. We were talking about Spell Sniper then. Increase the range of a spell. And
I think Spell Sniper is... I think they've nerfed it a little bit.
Okay.
I mean,
I think it used to be double. Strong. It used to be double, right?
I think so.
But now it's just up to 60. Which is,
okay, yeah, because it was like, double range, and
because like there was some shit that was really gross, where it's like you could have like a 1,000-foot Eldritch Blast. When fun fact, your eyes can't see that far.
Yeah, that's like
I had a player do that to me in a game, and like, I don't know, buddy, you can't really see that far with your eyes.
Yeah, it'd be really hard.
Terrain exists. The world is not a flat plane.
Yeah, like if you had elevation and like a spyglass, sure.
Yeah, if you were on like a hill, sure, but eyes don't work that way.
Warcaster seems about the same. Fine.
And then there's weapon training, which also used to just be a feat.
Yeah, weapon training was like you pick 2 weapons.
You get 1, but at least you get an ability score up.
Now you just get the full martial weapon list proficiency.
Oh, you gain martial weapon proficiency. I didn't notice that there.
Oh, that's a whole lot.
So, hey, if you're doing a blade singer, you might want to take this.
Oh god, that is decent then. You can just be like, I know martial spells. I'm going to be honest here. I don't want to look through all the spells.
No, I don't want to look at any of these spells. I don't know if any of them are different. They're just divided up in lists. And honestly,
they're just the list. They don't actually tell you what they do.
It's just the list,
yeah.
And then there's some rule stuff down here that I didn't really read. There's, I think, Barkskin. I saw a big change to Barkskin is you can cast it on like a lot of people now at high level.
There's a lot of spells that like protection from good and evil or whatever doesn't upcast.
No, which is dumb.
Yeah, so in one of the games I was playing, I realized that I was playing Eldritch Knight, and I'm like, I want to cast this on like the party, and I was looking at it, it's like it doesn't upcast. So I asked my DM, it's like, can I cast this at like level 2 or level 3 and like give it to like 1 or 2 other people?
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, sure.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. They nerfed guidance.
Yes, they
really?
did. Guidance is nerfed.
Once you roll this dice for a spell, you can't benefit from it again until the creature finishes a long rest.
To be fair, it's a super nerf, but it does stop guidance spamming.
Guidance spamming is on the DM, though.
Yeah. That is solely on the DM, but it does help prevent it a little bit.
Honestly,
that rule change seems more like to help inexperienced DMs.
Yeah, because I just say use old guidance, because I will just tell you can't use guidance in this situation.
Yeah, like you're gonna do an investigation check. No, you can't guidance yourself.
Yeah, that takes only a minute.
Guidance, yeah,
you're trying to talk to the shopkeeper and giving you a cheaper item. Hey, he's gonna notice you're doing a prayer. Can't use guidance.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, "Why are you casting a spell?"
Yeah.
Then you're gonna roll. Okay, you can guidance yourself if you want to talk to the merchant, but it's gonna act like Bane, and you're gonna get a minus D4 to the roll because he watched you cast a spell in front of him, which is really weird.
There's a lot of times you can't use guidance, and honestly, like I just feel like long rest is a little much. Like maybe short rest to have them. Like
I mean, we've got yet another version of jump rules that no one's gonna remember here.
Oh, I didn't even look.
You know what's stupid? The jump rules. You know, they come up so rarely, except for in Storm King's Thunder. In the very, very first area, there's a broken bridge. And basically, they made it exactly enough that anyone with like 10 strength can just make the jump, right? It's like, there's no check involved, you can just make the jump. But when I was running that, my players didn't think they could make the jump. So they're like, oh, well, we can't make the jump. It's like a 10-foot gap or something, which means you could jump it if you had 10 strength. And they were like, no, we'll fall to our death and die. And it's like, well, you'd take like, 2d6 damage or something.
You won't die.
And then you have to like walk around. So it was actually kind of funny though, because I was like, there's a ruined shop, and it's like there's a bunch of stuff there. Like you can basically get any like regular equipment there. So they went in there and got 10-foot ladders. They got 2 10-foot ladders, and then they got some rope, and they tied the ladders together and then put them over the gap on the bridge.
All right, fair enough, dude.
It works. All right.
Hey, I like that. You know what?
Even though the book is just like, the person
didn't need to do that, but I respect it.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, this is something different. Long rest now gives you all your hit dice back.
I think that's fine. It kind of breaks the rule we use in some of our games, but like whatever.
Well, that's a DMG optional thing.
Yeah, it's just an optional rule that we use. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and they do say now no more than 1 long rest in 24-hour period.
That just makes sense.
Is how it's supposed to be.
They needed to write that down.
Yeah.
And it's just like a short rest. You get like 2 or 3 if your DM is generous.
Yeah, and it says here everyone can ritual cast now. It just says that.
They mention short rest again, but they don't tell us what a short rest does.
Yeah.
That's weird that they don't mention it. Maybe it'll come in later.
Yeah, they might mention it in the document, which has classes that benefit a lot from it.
Well, this has been a heck of a thing, and I don't know if there's anything else I have to say about it.
It's a mixed bag, like everything 5e and 5.5e. I can't judge a thing by reading it in a PDF.
Yeah.
I don't have the time to play test things.
No.
Not to mention the fact that there's not enough to play test.
No, there's 3 classes.
The stuff from last time. I mean, like what? We have to wait.
There's nothing to play test. There's 3 classes. You can't make a party with these 3 classes.
Are we gonna have to like wait for like another 9 months before we can actually play test it?
I think they're doing these every month, so at least a couple more months, and then we can actually fucking play test it. Because with this is like, okay, hey, you can take these into they said you can take these into Radiant Citadel or Candlekeep as an example. Okay, you're taking these in. all the other classes people are going to play are going to be the same. These classes are like, some of them are worse, some of them are better. That kind of throws the balance of the campaign off.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Like, honestly, like something. Go ahead.
No, it's like I think I've mentioned this before. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the show, but I've definitely said it to everybody that I talk to. I actually like what they're doing with feat changes. I think the way they're changing feats is actually really good. Yep. But it's kind of funny because they're just going back to third edition. Third edition feats. It's the same thing.
I mean,
Pathfinder.
I've made this joke many times. If I want to play Pathfinder 2nd Edition Wizard, I'll just play Pathfinder 2nd Edition, dude.
Yeah, but we do extra feats.
We do most of the shit anyways.
Yeah, because we kind of like I like having extra feats, and I don't remember if I was in a game where we were given an extra feat at level 1. I think we were only given 1 extra feat. But I remember I was in a game where we got that, and it was like, this is really cool because you didn't normally get them. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't break your character to have 1 or 2 extra feats.
It doesn't make you that much stronger, unless you're absolutely fucking being disgusting, right?
Yeah, if
that's
you
just, but that's on your player, and then you should punish them.
Yeah, or you just straight up be like, you can't take these feats. Yeah. I haven't really had to do that.
I have a list of feats. I just straight up am like, you can't take this at level 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to 99% of the time, if you give me the option of a feat at level 1, you know what I'm going to take? Skilled.
Skilled is great.
I'm going to take skilled or skilled expert.
Yeah,
skilled expert is also great.
Yeah, I like both of those. I really like looking at it. I'm like, yeah, I could do some crazy weapon thing or something.
I could take observance, or I could take actor, but I like having skills. Or like, I'll meme and fucking one day I'll just take chef.
But like for me, I'm like, I want to take these skills because I feel like my character would have more skills they would know, and and then I'm like thinking about what my character would know.
Yeah,
you know,
skilled is such a good feat because if you take it at level 1, you get in the thinking process. Okay, so I get these extra skills. What was my character doing that they know how to do these things?
Yeah, why do I know all these extra skills? Like, I have a character. I think it's Val, or one other one that I would really love to have the skilled feat. I was trying to balance, like, well, maybe I'll take it at level 4 or 5 or whatever. Like, to represent that I learned this stuff as I was exploring. But it's really hard to which feat do you want? Do you want to have something that's more story? Do you want to have something to increase your power a little bit? You want something kind of in the middle? You know?
I've said this 9 out of 10 times. Like, if I get a feat level 1, I'm not picking the broken shit. I'm picking skills or something fun.
Yeah, I don't think I have ever picked any of the broken feats or combinations of broken feats.
In my entire time of playing 5e, I've never taken Spell Sniper.
I think I took it once, and I don't think I ever really did anything with it.
Look, again, this is something that I'm going to say, honestly, as much as I sometimes complain about 2nd edition Pathfinder's version of it, I still like skills in any other edition of any game better than 5th edition's version of it, because it's sort of
get a lot of them, and they don't.
Well, you get them once at the beginning of your character, and you
don't learn them.
Yeah,
you have no way of learning a skill.
Yeah, and that's just boring.
You have the same effective knowledge as when you were a level 1 farmer when you're level 20, because you haven't gained any new skills.
The only exceptions would be a rogue might have gained some extra proficiencies or something. Or unless people give you option of feats and you take skilled or something. But if you don't have that...
one of the other optional rules that Momo likes to use is the proficiency spending or whatever.
What I like to do sometimes, when we use some Star Wars, and I'm using it in my Grimm game, is I use proficiency points where I'm like, okay, you get points equal to your proficiency modifier. You don't have to spend them now. At any point when something comes up and you feel you need it, make a case to me why you would have proficiency in this, and bam, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I think it's 1 for tools and 2 for a skill or something.
It's 1 for tools and language, 2 for weapons. I think it's 4 for a skill.
I thought there was an expert version that was 4.
That might be that. I'd have to read them again.
Yeah, because like that would also be something that I would really probably take as Val, and probably get like religion knowledge.
Oh, religion would
So
be so useful in that game, dude.
Yeah, it really would be, because I think I have Arcana and History and stuff. So,
Yeah.
like I love having skills. The character I'm playing that I would want to have all the skills on doesn't have huge intelligence, so the knowledge skills aren't great. But having a +2 or a +3 later on, that helps.
Well, we could chat about this a lot longer, but I guess we have to see more.
I'll need to see the other classes before I can actually judge this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just salty about Bard.
Yeah. Hey, Wrath of Righteous is
Speaking
out
of being
on
salty.
consoles. It's also the enhanced edition. I will tell you, I've already noticed the updates to the game. Like since I played and the updated version came up and it got updated, I've noticed a few things. Like there is specifically a button now that when I'm leaving an area, they're like, "Do you want to take this stuff with you?" It's like, "Do you want to destroy anything you're not taking with you?" And I'm like, "Yes." So if I ever return here, I don't want all these armors I'm never going to pick up and sell to exist here. Thank you.
Awesome.
Wait,
So
it
good,
took you
dude.
to 2.0 of the second game to give this as an option. When I literally had to take a mod in the first game to do that because it was making my load times awful.
Oh, what? You mean modders fixed a game after release?
What?
Never heard of that happening before.
I've never played a Bethesda game. What do you mean?
It's not even Bethesda games that happen
So
anymore.
neat. There's more stuff. I mean, I was gonna talk a little. I could say like I don't have anything new this week for Wrath of Righteous. I got to this morning. I played and finally got to chapter 4. I missed a mission because I guess it either bugged out or for one reason I didn't find something. And the thing is like there was another mission right next to it that sounded exactly the same. I couldn't access that. They're like it's totally part of you gained it now, but you can't access it till later. So I'm like, I guess both of them are like that. So I ignored it and I don't get it. And I think
That's fine, probably.
It would have unlocked the Gold Dragon Mythic Path. I don't really care. I wasn't going to take it.
Ooh, dragon.
I was taking Angel anyway because it's the standard and it's really good. It's the thing I complain about the game. They give you a cast of characters that are of Avery alignment, and I'm like, this game doesn't deserve Avery alignment. Kingmaker, where you can be any alignment. That was one that deserved it. This one is fucking your lawful/good.
Hey,
Why
you're
the
fighting
fuck?
demons.
No. Why the fuck did they give me a serial killer? A literal serial killer who's chaotic evil on your team.
Oh,
Speaking of chaotic evil, that's something we can talk about in our weekend table.
We'll have to talk about that. But I'm like sitting there and I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, her character's useful, but like, that's it. Her as a character's useful. Her as an actual like character, I'm like, I hate you. Because you are an actual serial killer, and it's like you lied to me about the spirits, and I'm like, I knew it was a lie, but I went along with it because I'm using her as a character because after 12 levels, since she was a pretty good healer and starting out, my person to pick locks, she filled a role in my team.
Yeah,
that's hard to replace now.
Yeah,
just
get a bard.
Just get a bard.
I'm just gonna have to like buy an actual like other character, just a bard or something, and just build
that. Just get a bard.
I think they don't get like mythic abilities or something stupid like that when you buy a character, or maybe like they miss out on something, and it's like that kind of sucks. So it's sort of like they discourage you from just buying a character, but like
how dare you not use the shitty characters that give you
like
what was it? Pillars of Eternity. They had people you could buy that you could 100% customize, like name, appearance, class, whatever you want to do. But it's like, well, they don't have any story. I'm like, I don't really care about any of these people's stories.
Like, Wasteland 3 did that too, and it was fine.
Yeah.
The problem with this is when they have the stories, they give them really powerful abilities as part of their stories.
Ooh, that's a mistake.
Yeah. So most of the other characters, like the Hell Knight, I get him. He's lawful evil, fine. But there's like a lawful neutral.
At least he's lawful.
Even like the chaotic neutral, like rogue, because I saved him. And some things are happening with him. That's a storyline that feels like he wants to stick around. He runs off as part of the storyline because he's chaotic neutral. But he comes back and is like, hey, some weird shit's coming out, and you know about weird shit because you got all this like mythic powers. Can you help me out? you know, because I'm having problems. That makes sense. The chaotic serial killer, I don't understand why she's around other than she gets to stab people and I get to, like, turn my other cheek on it. And that feels terrible.
That's a pretty normal reason, honestly. It's not a good reason, but it's like the standard reason.
I know, but it just feels so bad, and I'm like,
oh no,
my character shouldn't say yes, but
No,
if I want my game to work, I have to say no.
What you would really be is like, all right, once they admitted to horrible evilness in front of the party, then you would. And next time you're in like a civilization where there's like big law enforcement, you just kind of walk up and be like, hey, I have this evil serial killer. Yeah, you take them.
If she wasn't a shaman that actually like had like decent cure and like some buff spells, and like honestly, the cleric and the oracle they gave me just suck. They give me just
but
really.
It's like one of those things in like a regular tabletop, like when you have, because it's actually worse in regular tabletop, because if you have a character or a player rather, a player who has made a character like for the game and for the party, and when you play with them, you kind of realize, hey, this person's actually like a really bad character, and why would we adventure with them? It's really kind of hard to just tell the player, like, hey, you made a bad character and we don't want to play with them. Because you don't really want to, like, be mean and hurt their feelings, unless you actually are a mean person. But like me, I don't like to bring it up. Unless it's like, everyone brings it up. Because, you know, they spent time and effort to make that character.
I think it's the entire thing for me is that, like, because they establish it, like, you can play anything as a way, and I'm like, but you really can't, because like the past they have that like you go into these directions of evil and stuff really change the story in worse ways, and I think that's the problem is they shouldn't have had so many of these options in Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. In Kingmaker, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna run Evil Kingdom. Cool. Okay, here you go, Evil Kingdom.
You're building it from scratch. We're in a lawful good kingdom that's in a holy war against demons. I'm going to be a demon worshiper.
That's fine. Obviously, that can't go wrong.
Well, look, the only good thing is I'm still on path to seduce the queen.
That's always good.
That's been my goal of this game, is to seduce the queen. And like I have a guide, and they're like, you have to have this. She has to bring you to the side. And you have to like reassure and like say this thing. And I'm like, I got all that. And then like, you know, make sure she stays. So I'm on the path to seducing the queen.
I mean, that's like the real victory of any tabletop RPG is seduction.
Yeah.
Dragon or queen.
Yeah.
Or,
no,
royalty, dragon.
I have like 3 characters on my team I could sleep with. Nope, the queen.
Yeah, I mean, the queen has power.
Yeah, look, she needs a little bit of the halfling. You know,
the characters probably have power, but not the same kind of power. You know,
I'm mythic rank 5. I can just annihilate things and I'm level 14 at this point in time. I can just annihilate things at a whim. Also, fucking, I fought like a level CR like 20 thing today. It was
20. Jeez.
It was like an outsider that was also like 20 levels of an alchemist.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds about right.
I had a plan out for it. I threw, using my characters, all having it, like 5 greater dispel magics to dispel enough of its spells on it. So then I summoned like all my crappy summons that I've got like magic items and special powers for to absorb it, and then I had the paladin who doesn't die for 2 turns once it reaches 1 hit point. It's stuck at 1 hit point for 2 turns. Tank it for 3 turns while I put every buff on her, and she's smiting the shit out of evil so that she only has to roll like a 5 on her first attack to hit this thing with like a 50 AC, and it worked because I rested and planned for it, and, you know, got lucky, honestly. I don't know how I killed it, honestly. Like, when my paladin died, it did too. Something happened weird. But I accepted it. But I was like, why the fuck is this here? Why? Why am I encountering something that has a level 50 AC? I gained 50,000 experience points. It was 3/4 of the way to level 15.
Nice.
Jeez.
That's this game. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm done with this game. Let's move on. Wrath of Righteous. It's out on consoles or the new updated version that has.
Yeah, if you want to experience all of this and more, pick it up at your local game store.
Play it on the
Or
easiest
don't.
difficulty.
Or don't.
If you want the
It's
story,
up to
just
you.
play it on the easiest difficulty. The story is okay. Don't keep the lawful evil or the chaotic evil character on your team. She's a trap. The one that's just doesn't have, whose alignment is mysteriously hidden, is, you know. Oh god. Oh, that link didn't pop up there. Anyway, whatever. There's the next one. I got Vast Grimm. So, it is a sci-fi RPG about fighting a legion of worm monsters in space.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Let's see here. They've got like a basic history. There's some parasitic worm monsters in space, and you've been fighting. There's been a war against them for apparently 663 years.
It's a long time.
That's a long time. There's 8
A
steps.
really specific amount of time, too.
Yeah, 8 steps of character creation, 20 pieces of techno magic, because apparently there's that too. Some of the worms, a bunch of stuff in the basic book. So, I mean, like, here you go. It seemed interesting. So I wanted to, like, give it a shout out and, like, show it off here. I don't know if any of you want to dive deeper into this.
It's got nice art.
It does have some really interesting art. Very stylistic to, like, and gritty.
Very punk.
Yeah, it matches the kind of idea of, like, warriors fighting horrible parasitic worm monsters in space.
Worm monsters.
Worm
That
monsters.
sounds like a Tuesday.
Talk about
Is
that
that
one
what,
later.
is that what you do in that game now?
Apparently, yeah. We could talk about that one later.
All right, okay. I'm now oddly curious about talking about that one later. How about this?
Like I said, it's an interesting week of tabletop.
It's been an interesting week, dude.
2070, an all-new cooperative graphic novel adventure. It's you want to play a graphic novel and for 1 to 4 players. Except it's a board game or a tabletop game. Here you go. So, what was that?
Is unique.
Yeah. It's got 4 96-page softcover books, 1 map, 1 deck of objectives, punch cards, streamlined setups, rules for playing out on your own or with multiple players.
I approve.
You can choose. There's a group objective, and each player has their own secret objective too.
Interesting.
So yeah, you know, it was interesting looking and felt like a.
Man, it's got all of my favorite characters. Bald woman, monk, nerd, and tube man.
Tube man.
You mean wacky inflatable arm guy or
Yeah,
whatever?
that guy.
It's kind of what it looks like. Tube man.
Yeah, it's got bald. He's got a bald cyborg lady, a Shaolin monk. Don't know why. Nerd, and then this thing.
Oh, yep. That's
It is
This
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
cyborg. It is cyborg bald lady, Shaolin monk, nerd, and tube man.
Got all the basic D&D characters. These are the only 4 characters that exist.
I just imagine that's your D&D game. Is like, I played cyborg bald lady. I played Shaolin monk,
Yeah.
nerd, and tube man. Oh, fucking hell.
I mean, we're 1 tube man away from having that on Tuesday, so.
yeah, when they freaking shoot one gun and kill everyone in the party instantly.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Recharge, Genius, Merchant, and Charitable are their titles.
Alright, good for them.
That's so bad. Okay. Anyway. Oh, he is a Shaolin monk. Well, I guess
Yeah,
that's just something like his
Shaolin
ability.
monk.
Cyborg,
It's a
Shaolin
space
monk,
monk.
tech expert, and the
You know?
Slaggy Man.
He's an alien that humans met 20 years
You might not
ago.
want to. You might not want to release this guy in Britain. That's a very different meaning.
No. So yeah, if you want to check that out, it's another one. It's interesting, little thing too.
It's cool.
Here's a book that I saw that I just want to mention because it's on my list of, hey, more stuff. Like honestly, like 5e needs more stuff. 5e needs
more stuff.
5e doesn't need anything. You know what? 5e needs nerfed monk.
How about
bard?
How about NPCs?
No.
Like,
I refuse.
All you need is commoner.
Mm-hmm.
All you need is commoner, and they just need to be really
how about like 100 NPCs?
I mean, this is genuinely something missing from 5e's fucking NPCs.
But apparently, it's also got VTT tokens for every NPC voice app.
Okay.
Whoa.
Common some other Journal of Common Places, some extra tools.
This is not just like generic NPC stats. This is like actual characters.
These are real characters.
Yeah. That you can use in adventure in different ways.
Pretty cool.
Just be like, hey, here's this cowboy lizard.
Yeah. Every party needs one. A cowboy lizard.
Yeah, just give whatever her name is, because she's got a lizard name. Just give her a cowboy hat, and she's basically a cowboy. I mean, she's a ranger lizard.
Yeah, basically.
That's basically cowboy.
Yeah, each NPC is paired with a professionally voice-acted monologue to kick off the action and delight your players, and then you have to take over.
Yeah, I can't wait to... Dude, I can't wait to fucking... break
Matt
out
Mercer.
the fucking Matt Mercer NPC, and then, sorry guys, you gotta listen to my voice.
I'm Matt Mercer now. I can't do a Matt Mercer.
Fucking, Matt Mercer, Laura Bailey, she's in a lot of shit.
Yeah.
She might be in this.
Tara Strong is another voice actor I know.
Yeah,
voice actress.
I don't know what's the original system. They're compatible with 5e, they say, but they're supposed to be okay, so they're built compatible with 5e, but they're built in such a way that you can use it in other systems just for the information and stuff too, and like some of the ideas of where to go.
It's because it's more of a character, and then here's some stats.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool.
I recognize some of the people they list in this little list of voice actors.
I bet you do. I don't know anybody.
One of them, I think, is a streamer that I've watched.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Critical Bard.
Yeah, they're showing a picture here later on of a bookseller who's a bio, personality, driving goal, and a quirk. Already that makes it interesting character.
I mean, that is basically what you need to be a character.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh god. So yeah, it's honestly it's just more stuff needed for 5e. Just more stuff like this.
I use random generators, and you can get some really interesting and horribly cursed characters, and I love both of them equally. And I may or may not be plotting to do something with potentially 10, 12 different NPCs who may all have horribly cursed backstories because of random generation.
Random generated NPCs are the best, because they are just the most cursed things on the planet.
Some of them don't make sense either, which is the ones you have to reroll, where it's like, this man is loved by everyone, he's beautiful, and then in the description has a horribly scarred face and 6 charisma. It's like, those two things don't match.
This is cool though.
I was gonna do this thing here, but I kind of feel like I don't want to do the movie review game anymore. I'm just I'm sitting here. It's Cryptozoic's doing a Rotten Tomatoes the card game.
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, I'm done.
I don't watch enough movies, dude.
I never watch movies anymore.
Hey, that's my announcement. Hey, I'll put it in the I'll just put this out here in case anybody cares.
If you like movies, I guess.
It's a thing. It's card games.
At this point in time, I'm feeling less up to talking about it, honestly. After
I don't know enough movies. There's 350 movie cards. I don't know 350 movies. I don't know 10 movies.
Yeah, I don't think we own 350 movies, and I'm talking about movies. We still have VHS movies.
I have that.
I don't think we own that many.
A bunch of VHSs in the attic somewhere.
I have VHSs and DVDs.
We have freaking Jurassic Park on VHS.
Oh hell yeah!
The first one. Hell yeah!
The only good one.
Well, I mean, the second one was okay.
I've read side tangent, very side. I read something interesting. The reason that the last Jurassic Park movie, the Jurassic World movie, was kind of terrible was the guy that was in charge of it was like, yeah, I had to do something with this trilogy to make sure if they wanted to do more movies, they could do more movies. And I'm like, favorite monster.
My favorite part about that movie was it had nothing to do with dinosaurs. It was just actual real world problems.
Yeah, but I'm like, maybe I don't want more Jurassic World or Jurassic Park movies.
Have you considered just not making dinosaur movies or doing something different with dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Zombie dinosaurs.
Oh, God. If that's
Give me a dinosaur wizard.
Ooh, man, dinosaur wizard. Hi.
No, when you polymorph into a dinosaur, you lose your intelligence score.
This one's a really smart dinosaur.
So, here's an interesting one that uses the Year Zero engine.
The
one
that's
that,
a
like,
video game.
Yeah,
it is a video game.
The engines was done by Free League Pricks, and they did Mutant Year Zero is one of the games they did, the Alien RPG and stuff. So it's using the same system as that. It's Touched by the Gods.
Show me on the doorway the
I really knew that joke was coming. So
sorry,
you're like,
I'm immature.
no, it's fine. It's a world where like most people have died off. You're like in this,
unfortunate.
Yeah,
Rip.
the entire world is covered with a vast, dense forest called the Wild, and you are a character that's been basically touched by some of the remaining dying gods to have their power in order to, like, I guess protect mortal kind as it's trying to be killed off by this forest or something. I don't know.
Evil
That's
forest.
weird.
Yeah,
I bet it's full of like weird limb monsters.
Well, if Tantus and the boys all get back together, we can totally destroy the forest like we did like 2 years ago in the video game The Forest.
Look, when the son of the forest comes out, we're doing that again.
Yeah, where we clear cut like half of the forest.
No, turns out I didn't realize until I was seeing someone play the forest. It wasn't the random. It was the with crowd control. There's a mutant that has been out we never found. There's a weird sausage monster out there.
I've seen the sausage monster before.
I never encountered it since it was released.
Yeah.
But I did see some people respawning in sausage monster to torment people. So, usual.
Seems weird.
Fun times.
I know. Sausage mutant. So yeah, if this interests you at all in this interesting storyline, and it uses if you're familiar with the Year Zero engine or don't mind learning it, check this out.
I think it's pretty good.
I've heard, I know because the Alien RPG uses it. I know the Alien RPG is pretty good.
Yeah. I have, of course, a couple more because this was a very busy week of a lot of smaller things.
A lot of busy things.
I got this. I think it's basically a flexible system, a new flexible system that they have here, which is Soana, Seekers of a New Age. It's supposed to be D&D like a tabletop game, but it's supposed to be very flexible. So like, it's got, I guess, similar rules to 5e. I'm assuming. Because
10-sided dice,
20-sided die is to measure your failure and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a D20 system, but it's meant to be a little bit more generic. They changed dexterity for agility and vitality for constitution, and that's it.
The two 10-sided dice you roll as percentile die, so it's the new D100, not the actual 100-sided die, which was huge and enormous.
Well, for years, anybody that needs to do that in person just use a percentile die.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a D100 and have it roll. I have a D100 somewhere.
I wanted one just because of how stupidly huge they are. But they don't make them anymore unless you pay extra.
I think I know where it is. I just have to fish it out. Which I'm not going to do right now. So yeah,
it's so hot in my room right now. Holy crap.
Not going to go into much depths about this one, but honestly, a more generic D20 system. Maybe it can allow for some of the stuff that's been in the D20 sphere to work a little bit better that people have been trying to chunk onto 5e and hope for the best.
We can only hope.
I mean, that's what's kind of been is sort of like, let's throw some darts at 5e and see if this works.
It usually doesn't.
It depends on how good your writing is.
Yeah.
And also your DM, because your DM can really screw it up.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't have I have to find this because the link that I had from the site that has is it links to Amazon, what I have, which I don't want to link to Amazon.
Oh no.
From Ravensburg. Tabletop games. Ravensburg? Yeah, there's Ravensburg. Cool, I found their website. I don't know if I'll be able to find the actual game in here, but I'll link Ravensburg's website. They did a Great British Bake Off game show, board game.
Oh, shit. I can't wait for a board game to criticize me like Paul Hollywood criticized those poor fucking people.
I'm really curious how they can recapture that kind of thing. Sometimes they do board games where I'm like,
insult cards.
Yeah, just generic insults. You race to bake to create the perfect bake in this fast-paced, easy-to-learn card game. You and your fellow bakers choose up 3 recipe cards, signature, technical, showstopper, challenges, assemble them quickly, and I guess the insult cards go flying for you're failing horribly.
Yeah.
I talked about this because I'm not a fan of it, but I know there's enough fans out there of it. So
I've watched it. I like watching cooking contests because fun fact, I'm a cook in real life, so I enjoy watching cooking contests.
I don't enjoy it.
I have a culinary background.
I hate most television, to be honest. So like,
I mostly watch it because I like it when Gordon Ramsay insults people.
So I don't know if this is an intervention for Wizkids in the way that like I've been thinking about, but I've been going through, and I was looking at Wizkids' site because I try to check if they put anything new out, and they just have a lot of like weird models they don't talk about, and so let's go down the list of 3 things they're doing.
God.
I'm
ready.
Here's of course a life-size closet. That's kind of
life-size.
Life-size. Okay.
They're tiny creatures, so it's a tiny creature.
They're horrible monsters.
Here's a password-protected foam Dritz bust. For whatever reason, it's linked on their website, and I have to enter a password.
What on earth?
I don't know why. Oh no, it's a full-size Dritz foam statue.
Okay, that one doesn't want me to look at it.
That one's illegal.
This one doesn't work, and I don't know why.
It might not be out yet.
Well, no. It links this place with the password protected. And, it's up... The thing is, it's in part of their website. They have it listed.
I found it. Why? Why is this... Why this... Holy shit, that's so expensive.
How much?
$1,500.
Whoa!
Okay, I found it on the shop, Wizkids.
If you like this guy enough, I don't. I certainly don't like this
It's
guy.
5'7" tall.
I'm tired of hearing of this man, personally.
Oh, it's huge! Why is it huge?
So, some people have a body pillow. Other people need the life-size foam. Yeah, to cuddle it, right,
With the hood that comes up and down, because it needs
sometimes, when you've had...
Just why?
When you've had a really rough day at work.
And now...
I don't like this.
The final nail in the coffin of maybe Wizkids needs an intervention. The Teeth of Del Nar bite-sized artifact. It's a bag of fake teeth that includes human fake teeth, like in here.
Oh, no.
Why, though? $80 for some fake teeth.
I think Wizkids needs an intervention. Someone needs to help them. The closet and the Tarrasque, that's good enough.
I mean, the closet I get, because, maybe you like closets. I don't know why you would. I think they're disgusting.
You could pretend to be an evil wizard.
Yeah, just pet it.
Yeah.
This is my dog.
This is my dog.
Yeah, this is just my dog. That, sir, is
a
demon.
Be nice to Fluffy.
Look, if it was the Imp, I would rename it Captain Insidious after a player in one of my games back in 3rd edition had an Imp named Captain Insidious. It did really horrible, evil things because it was an Imp. And that's what you get for having it as an improved familiar. Comedy.
I can only imagine someone buying this Dritz foam statue and like you put it in your house somewhere. And then, like, you're trying to just walk around at night, and you just see a dude.
And there's just
like,
a dude.
There's just a 5'7" dude with a sword at the corner.
With 2 swords.
Is his cloak up or down?
With 2 swords, and a fucking furry hood.
He's got long, flowing hair for you to enjoy.
His luscious locks.
Look, I'm telling you, Wizkids needs an intervention.
Look, Wizkids, it's okay. You could just sell body pillows. BioWare does it. You could just sell a body pillow.
You really can.
You want to
Commander Shepard Body Edition.
Just get you. They have a Garrus one. I think they have a Legion one now.
Okay, that's weird. Like, Garrus and Tally.
They've got Garrus and Tally. I think they have a Legion one. Give me the Morden one. Yeah, that one.
Anyway, I wanted to do one last thing that was a palate cleanser. Hey, just another free mission brief from Modiphius for Star Trek Adventures. Here you go. It's free. It's a mission. You can just do it. Yeah, in Star Trek Adventures. They just keep doing these and just occasionally have, like, here's a free adventure.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Those are always good, usually.
Yeah.
Free is a good price for things.
And like this one is like basically exploring like find like a shipwreck or something. It's supposed to be it's really made for original series, but you can modify it for others.
Yeah, I mean, you could fucking use this for when it's Star Wars Day and just make it a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, so it's 10 basically setups for missions, each detailing a space wreck and some elements about them. So, I mean, it's not like a full adventure. It's basically like, here's a bunch of stuff for setup and ideas and like what you do for the thing. You'd have to build a lot of it yourself still, but I mean, honestly, for something that's like a free, like, here's a lot of like ideas set in our universe that, work very well and could, help you come up with really cool ideas and plans. Here you go. Here's, 33% of what you need to do. The basics.
There you go.
So.
Star Trek's a good system.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, it was a palate cleanser here at the end. We needed something.
We needed it after the Dritz statue.
Yeah. Whoa, man.
When I saw it was a life-sized foam Dritz.
Dude, I mean, when you come home after a rough day, you just grab them, take them to bed, and have a cuddle.
Oh, God. Yeah. Let's talk about dead games.
All right.
So, last week we talked about cutting a game short. And this is going to be the other version of game, which is a dead game. When I talk about a dead game, I mean a game that either... the easiest way to think about it is the game just died. People couldn't meet, enough time went by, things keep getting put off, the game just ends up ending. Maybe someone moves away, you can't replace them, and they were like, interval to the team or something, or a couple of people move away, something happens, can't play it. There's also a situation where your game gets into a point in time where there's no going back, it's just dead.
Yeah.
My example is when I was doing Madness of the Land. We got to a point in time where I'm just like, the game is like festering. If I keep going, I just have this like horrible mutilated corpse that's rotting that I'm dragging behind me and trying to keep going.
Yeah.
So I just had to be like, we're ending it. Honestly, the nail in the coffin was, when 2 of the characters basically total party wiped out the entire team, and I had to like use and I had established these things earlier, my 2 basic Deus Ex Machinas in the background and like use them to save the day. Like, I had established things in the storyline way beforehand. I wasn't planning on using them as Deus Ex Machinas, honestly. I was planning them for other usings, but when it came up, I'm like, I guess this is what I can use them for. Save the day. So, but that was the nail in the coffin. The last nail. out of all the stuff that was going on. And, there was a lot of mistakes and stuff, and, that game was dying. And I just had to let it die.
It happens.
I think the thing I wanted to talk about today is kind of... It's less that you're not going to encounter that as recognizing either when it's coming up or when it's happened and knowing when to cut your losses.
Yeah.
You got to make sure, you got to kind of watch your players, watch what's going on, see how well your story is going on.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about, cutting your story short. Sometimes you reach a point in your story where I'm like, how am I going to get back to the main story here?
Yeah.
And you can't answer that sometimes.
A good sign of when a game is dying is player disinterest.
Yeah. That's a heavy one.
Yeah, when your players no longer care, it's pretty hard to...
When your players don't care, you can't really come back from that.
No.
And it's not always on the DM that they don't care. Sometimes players just don't care.
And I mean, again, you can have a player that is never really engaged in the game.
Yeah.
It doesn't help the game. It doesn't maybe stop it if other people are engaged. But you can have people like that, and it does affect the game. You have to, and the thing is, there's different levels of not care.
Mm-hmm.
There's not care and still do stuff.
Yeah.
That's Nax. You can still work with Nax.
I mean, I've been that kind of character too before. To be
there's not care and also sort of undermine things, but only
I've
mildly.
That one.
That's a pirate.
That's more than a pirate. That's his other character too.
Yeah, his other character's a really bad one. The pirate probably was like the undermining wasn't super overt, at least. It was very subtle undermining.
What I mean is, I will preface this by saying this: the dude who played these characters, he's a good friend of mine. I just think he's a shit D&D player. And sometimes people are just shit at D&D, right? It's not. They're just not. They don't get it. He played a dwarf, and Lightning probably remembers this dwarf. They're going through a dungeon full of demons. I established, hey, there's a lot of demons here. You might want to try to sneak around or, be tactical. And no, he decided, fuck that. I don't know if he didn't like the story or whatever, but he just went around actively trying to sabotage and get the party killed by alerting every demon in the building.
Yeah.
And it's I want to just punish you specifically, but I can't because it'll TPK. So what eventually happened is I got so mad I just said, I'm not running the game anymore.
Yeah. And the thing is, a game can die because of your disinterest too. If you lose the ability to run the game, you can put a game on hiatus, yes. Mm-hmm. But that's a tough one because you can't always come back from a hiatus.
Yeah.
I have an example. I was running a Besson game, and we had to go on hiatus. I tried to come back, and what happened the first session is one of the players didn't remember anything of how their character acted. And basically, rather than play the way their character was, which the character was, I will tell you, because it's a Besson game, they were a pop star angel.
Oh, yeah.
When we came back, he played up the angel aspect rather than the pop star aspect. And he was fun when he had the pop star aspect that just happened to have some angelic powers, That was fun, and the character worked. When he was paladin holier than thou, I'm this is just not fun anymore for his character, It's not the same. And we couldn't come back from it,
Yeah.
The hiatus killed the game effectively. That can happen. Sometimes you need that though, or sometimes life does that. You never know. Breaks are hard. Long ones are really hard. Issues with players, hard to deal with. Mm-hmm. We talked about that in the past. It's interesting because I know it's one of those things that unless you get very disenfranchised, which I've gotten disenfranchised with a game and want to just be I'm done. You get that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you want to make it work somehow, and Doesn't always work.
A game that I can say really should have died a lot earlier. And we complain about it every week. Carrying Crown, right?
Yeah.
Carrying Crown was a game plagued with issues on everyone's part.
Yeah.
Module, you didn't really remember how to run Pathfinder. Everyone made a shit character.
We had 8 players.
We had 8 fucking players in that game over the course of its existence because so many people dropped out.
And like, there were varying reasons for dropping out too. You know, like
life reasons.
2 people had life reasons. One person wasn't really having a great time with their character. We had some character changes that were trying to fix things, which were just, it felt like band-aids on open wounds. You know, it's sort of like, and I was trying my best to figure out ways to like fix the thing, but again, like Carrying Crown, it's one of those unfortunate things. It's like Buccaneers, like, okay, Skulls and Shackles. I can take a scalpel into Skulls and Shackles and fix up little things that are there, and it makes it work better. I needed like a hacksaw to Carry Crown to fix the issues that were in it. I think that's the difference.
Yeah. I think the point where I, as a player, like fully mentally checked out of Carrying Crown was Slosh Karamak.
I can understand that.
It was real bad.
Compounding the dungeon, just being a shit designed dungeon. We had someone who joined who just like didn't ever stop trying to just fully keep going forward, and did a lot of interrupting because they wanted to explore every room before everyone. And I'm like, I don't want to. I'm good, man. That's where I lost all my interest in that game. Is that
we also had the freaking mummy thing where it's like, oh,
yeah, then
you got mummy rot.
The
and
mummy
there's no way to
rot.
heal it.
Then there was
all the golems that you could barely do any damage to because none of us were like strength characters.
It was so many compounding issues that by the time we got to the end of book 3, or was it book 4?
Book 3 is where we ended.
Book 3, so we got halfway through. Everyone, I feel, was just mad and frustrated.
Yeah, I was feeling it at that point in time, and I'm like, I tried hard, you know, to fix things, but it was sort of like, it's at that point in time, I'm like, this ship has sunk so much, I can't bail it out anymore. I made effort to try to bail it out. I did, but it was just, you know, Slosh Karamak was so many nails in the coffin because of the
final nail was a fear effect spell removing 3 people from a combat, and then leaving the people who can't. It took the 3 good characters out of the combat and left the remaining.
One of them, it took out like 2 wizards who could have casted Sea Invisibility.
Yeah, it took out the 2 wizards. It took out the punchy guy, and those are like the 3 well-built characters.
Yeah.
And it left with Cell's character was a healer, so they don't really do damage.
And I think
and Anne, who
was immune to fear.
Anne, who's immune to fear, and famously played by Umber, who never rolls above a 10.
It's true, poor Umber.
I think that wizard ran out of spell slots.
Yes.
Before dying.
Yeah.
He used every single spell he had prepared for the day before the combat ended.
Yeah. That was when that killed the game, and there was nothing. It wasn't on anyone either.
And the thing is, like, I gave him a different necromantic spell because normally he has Circle of Death, and I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah, Circle of Death would have actually ended the game.
Yeah, that would just killed everybody. It was better, but also like it still sucked, and I'm thinking like,
well,
like one person failed
because it didn't kill 3 characters.
Yeah,
outright.
Yeah, it didn't just nuke 2 characters instantly.
Yeah,
because I think you actually rolled, and it was like that would have killed me.
I rolled.
I think
I would have been. It would have outright killed both our characters. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you and I both would have just been instant death. We weren't a high enough level to get raised dead, and But we weren't as tied to the story as
No.
because we had swapped out our characters.
There are only, I think at that point, only 2
There was
characters
only
remaining. Yeah, it was Anne. Anne was the only character remaining because after book 1, like 3 of the starting characters left. Then when Jess had to leave, I'm like, it doesn't feel right to play my tiefling because they're intrinsically combined together to make one character.
I think it's the thing that, like, you either have to be ready for having people that have that commitment for an adventure path, or you have to put in places for changes.
Carrying Crown is from what I've read of synopsis, because I've not read any actual. Carrying Crown seems like it's impossible until like book 5 to logically do it. Because book 5, you basically join the Palatine Eye.
Because the thing is, like, you can join the Palatine Eye, and the thing is, like, things like that and like you get story stuff that can work there. Like, I think of things like, I've played through a bunch of Rise of the Rune Lords. Honestly, a lot of stuff happens in Sandpoint. You could easily get a new person in Sandpoint. Someone else that would have been helped out.
Wrath of the Righteous was super easy to get new characters in because you're in a fucking military.
Yeah. Someone dies or someone, has to, like, retire because of injury or psychological issues.
I can think of 3 points in Carrying Crown where you can logically introduce someone. The beginning of Trial of the Beast, where the judge can recommend someone to help you who's just in the town.
Yeah.
When you get to the lodge, you could have a player introduced at the lodge as someone staying there who maybe wants to help deal with all the weird shit going on. And then when you get to the capital, those are the only 3 logical points I can think to put a new character in.
The only way that would work is you'd actually have to, like, either take, like, you'd have to take a step back from the professor. You could make these characters know who the professor was because he was related to the Palatine Eye, but they would basically have to be operatives of the Palatine Eye that you're introducing every time for it to work.
Yeah, the way...
And that opens up story parts that are part of the end story right away, is the only issue.
Yeah, Carrying Crown just does not work to swap people out. Because your 2 characters are too tied to the beginning plot hook.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think there's a couple of adventure paths that are like that have a very big opening plot hook.
Yeah, I think Iron Gods is one of them as well, because Iron Gods is like a world-ending threat.
Yeah. Like, you can have the world-ending threats without the tie, but unfortunately, like, they don't do that. Just some of the adventure paths, it's you have to have the commitment for it. Like, others, you can... And again, Carrying Crown, you can kind of figure out how to do that. It's just not... easy.
It takes a lot of work on top of all of the work you kind of need to do to make anything in Carrying Crown actually connect, on top of making the individual stories of Carrying Crown not shit.
Yeah.
Because the first 3 adventures are just...
They feel standalone.
They're standalone. They don't feel connected.
I will tell you, the only adventures... I've said it before, the only adventures that feel like they connect together, 1, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Does it?
Like, Harrowstone, I think Harrowstone on its own is a fantastic opening to a campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we suffered because of not remembering certain things, and, like, going back, you'd be like, that'd be really easy to go back and do it again.
Yeah, like, I mean, I've read, because I ran Harrowstone, basically, I adapted it to 5th edition, I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I can see how we as making our characters kind of fucked up with this one.
And the thing is, like, I think it's, like, some of those things is, like, I'm like, I don't think really anybody listened to my suggestion of there's going to be a lot of undead.
I did, because I made a ranger.
You made a ranger that could...
I made a ranger with favorite enemy undead.
Yeah, but that's like the big step in the right possum, and, like,
yeah,
there was an oracle so they could cast, like, cure spells to damage them.
To do damage. There was a witch who took healing, like, a little too late. If they would have took it earlier, they would have been great for the opening part. But that opens up the problem of you're not going to be great in the rest of the adventure.
Yeah,
Jess should have played a wizard, really.
The first part is heavily undead, and then you don't fight undead for a long time after that.
Yeah.
Like, the undead are interspersed in various places, like the second part of Book 3, which is technically Book 4. There's undead here and there throughout Trial of the Beast.
Yeah, in the crematorium or whatever we went to, there were juju zombies.
And
there was also, I think, ghosts or
wraiths
something.
in one town, and there's some undead.
Those things almost killed us.
Yeah.
Well, those things almost killed me. The rest of you could have escaped.
But that's still not great.
I would have been fine with it because it
Well,
would have been
sort
in
of
character
like
to get Jess out safe.
it's sort of like I forget what happened, but it was sort of like everybody did like there was a list of like 4 wrong things to do, and you did all 4 of them.
I can tell you what happened. We listened to Umber.
You made the most noise. You attracted like all the attention. You know, you did all this stuff that like normally you kind of fight these individually.
Yeah,
you basically lured all of them in.
To the plan Umber suggested of let's just go to the center of town first.
Yeah.
We fought one and then it ran away, which was like kind of shitty.
Because they weren't wraiths, they're wraithlings, I think.
Yeah,
right?
they're
the child wraith.
Yeah, they're child wraiths,
which is fucked up, but they're technically easier.
Yeah, they have less stats than a normal wraith. They're still pretty deadly, but
you fight an actual wraith in Harrowstone.
Yeah, because there's like a one that basically has been creating them. And, like, yeah, they run away, you know, but they don't really work together very well. And, like, I think it's sort of like you waited around or something, you know.
I don't really remember. I just, I don't know. Carrying Crown had so many issues. I could tell Carrying Crown was doomed to die after Session 3.
It's that unfortunate thing that, like, I probably knew, too.
And it was just that slow death spiral.
And... you know, it's when issues are occurring, and when
you know when the game is in the process of dying, but you don't want it to die, so you try to salvage it.
Look, I can tell you, I knew Madness was dying when we got to Season 2. I gotta be honest. We lost a bunch of characters. Now, you know, Rachel was able to come back, but she had to go. Will had to go. Tiv wanted to change his character for reasons, which I was kind of annoyed with, because, like, his second character was fine, but, like, he had 3 characters, and that was too many.
Yeah, I knew my Underdark game, which is the one that had the dwarf, I knew that game was fucked in Session 1 when 2 characters refused to take any of the setting seriously.
And, like, we lost good old Tesh, and I loved Tesh being there, but we lost him because it was the unfortunate thing that, like, he was very new to D&D, and, like, because of what happened, all the responsibility of the team was thrust on him.
Yeah, that's never good.
He wasn't the person in charge, but when all the characters basically left after the first season, he was the only one that remained for the first part of Season 3, or Season 2. So, and what happened was, the team he was leading, we had mysteriously disappear and probably die.
Lovely.
Because we lost everybody, like, mid-through, or, like, some things were changing, and we had to, like, reset the entire season. And that wasn't a great thing. You know, it's sort of like, when stuff like that happens, you know there's an issue. I wanted to keep it going, too, because it was, like, a stream show, and I wanted it to be, like, a show, but, like, it's, like, shit was happening, and, like, I think it was after the cusp of, like, the spiraling death of losing 2 players early on in Treasure of the Lost Legion, the first game I streamed. You know, I did my best with the 3 people I got a new person. The 3 people I did best with them. You know, the one character was silly, you know, but he was fine. And then the other 2 worked their best, but then, like, Rachel had to go. You know, something came up with her during that time period that she had to end it. You know, unfortunately, like, her life stuff happens for her here and there. I think it was, like, one time it was a move, one time it was a job or something. You know,
it happens.
But regardless, it was dead.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, I knew that the Underdark game I ran, I knew that was going to die after Session 1, because no one, two players didn't respect any of the fucking work I put in. Lightning and I worked to explain how things to live in the Underdark. They turned that into a joke. I spent so long making an entire whole ass fucking species of mage people for the Underdark. Oh, they have a fluffy tail, furry, and that was what they were to them. Was just, oh, you made a furry race. And I just after session 1, I don't want to run it anymore. Just like, all right, you're not going to respect any of my work. Why am I doing this?
That's a very heavy one. Like, if you don't get respect from the players towards the game at all, you know, it's unfortunately you kind of need a little bit of that. You know, you can. It's sort of like, I think it's the one thing that I always do is like, I'll give my example. Badger. You know what? Badger was kind of silly, but you know what I did? I respected the world.
You did respect the world a lot.
Badger may have been silly and had dumb ideas, but guess what? I treated him like he was an actual person in that world.
Yeah.
So even if he had weird beliefs and acted weird, he was a person in that world. So he treated the world with the respect that as a person you normally do.
Yeah, because like Lightning more than me, you spent so much time in that world.
I've been working on this thing for like 3 or 4 years.
I've only been working on it for like 2 years.
Yeah. It might be 5 now, honestly.
Yeah, it's been a long time in development.
Yeah.
It's and to have when players don't respect that work, it makes you want to just kill your game. And if they don't respect your world, you can't run a game in it.
Yeah.
It's the thing that, like, I feel like there were certain ideas like that also didn't help because you have to be careful what you compromise, especially for characters. I think it gets back to madness. There were things that I compromised for certain characters early on that had repercussions in my story and the way I was telling things. I was already making mistakes. I'll be honest. I made some huge mistakes in that game, in the way I established it, the way I ran it, things like that. Honestly, it should have been 5th edition. It should have been Pathfinder. But, you know, I was new to it was a newer game to the channel. You know, Pathfinder was kind of the old hat. 5e is the new hat. So I wanted
the new hotness.
New hotness, baby.
You know, it's the big thing. You know, but like nowadays, since we've had in other years, people respect Pathfinder now and like go back to 1st edition and 2nd edition, stuff like that.
Pathfinder's had a bit of a resurgence.
You know, people still like both 1e and 2e now, and you know, either of them. So sort of like I feel like this is the time that Madness would have been better, but it's sort of like I let a character be too connected to like the hierarchy of the city. The one, like, there were some choices that I made that honestly I ended up liking the story better because, like, you know, there's an interesting story of one of them adopted it basically helped out a banshee that was a child banshee. A young elven girl had been killed and turned into a banshee because that's where banshees are supposed to be elves.
Yeah.
They're an undead type of elf, and basically adopted her. And, you know, made it the person's goal to resurrect this banshee. Which wasn't going to be easy, you know? But that was a storyline for them, and that's why that was a good reason for the character to retire, you know, after season 1. That was Will's character. I really liked Will's character there. But, you know, like, Joe's character was kind of awful. He came back with that character later on and fixed that character a lot, and that was good because he actually made that character more of a character. But when he was first playing it, he was very just annoying gnome rogue, you know.
Joe playing a gnome
and a rogue. He likes that a lot. That's his favorite character class, kind of archetype. But you know, but it's just like you got to recognize when there are signs of bad things happening in your game, I think, and you got to be also able to tell when you can and cannot course correct.
Yeah.
Because there's things that you can do, there's things that your players can do. Because you can sit down with a player and be like, "Hey, please, can you be like a little bit more like, you know, stuff." There are certain levels of stuff you can do with a player, but you can do certain things. You have to be like be comfortable with the like early levels of like, hey, just don't do that kind of crap, you know, that kind of thing.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I think things like, honestly, unfortunately, respecting the world is very hard to tell them to do.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't make someone respect the work I put in, but I do expect at least a base level of, hey, you spent like easily 50 to 100 hours of making this, I can understand that this is like a big thing to you. I'm gonna not make, jokes about it, right?
Yeah. I think that's just respect for another person in general, though. And sometimes people do lose that sometimes, but you gotta try to keep a little bit of that.
It's also like with it happened with the Kitsune, and it happened with the Vieira from Final Fantasy, basically.
Yeah, the Kitsune one, that was in the game that actually did finish.
The game that actually finished, yeah.
And that pirate made me so mad because I was the one who started that, right? And Momo expanded on them in other games and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like they're just like constantly insulting the world and the people, and it's like, why is your character even here?
Yeah, like you laid the groundwork for Kitsune, and I basically built up their culture, and none of that was respected.
No.
I mean, like it was like I've never been against anything. Look, I gotta be honest. I have a high tolerance for anything. Like if you want to call it furry stuff, I don't care. I don't care really. I hang out with Blaze. He likes to play like Tabaxis and stuff.
Oh yeah, I respect that.
That's his kind of favorite character, Catfolk and Tabaxi. Or that or Halflings. I don't know.
Also a good choice.
But the thing is, like, I'll play whatever, and I don't really care. Like I've played Luxodons. I've played just normal humans.
I played a lizard.
You did play a lizard.
I played lizard a couple of times. I'm technically currently playing a lizard folk. I'm just gonna say we didn't have our session yesterday again. This time because our DM has an ingrown toenail that's got horribly infected.
That's real bad.
She was not feeling like walking around. It was considering getting medical attention. I'm like, yes, maybe you have to.
That's not good.
So she's trying to deal with that, I guess, without having to have surgery. But she might have to get surgery. But that's why she didn't feel like running. And I'm like, that's understandable.
That's a good
horrible
reason
not
not
to
run.
pain. But things like that come up very often for that game.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's unfortunate.
See, that game, I feel like it'll only die if we let it die because, that's the kind of thing it is. When we play, like, once a month, I'm okay with it.
I have been in a lot of games that have died, but I've never run a game that has died. Usually, the sad part is, it's all been the same DM. It's the same DM every time. It's been, like, two different games now. And it's all come down to health, usually. Health, and one of them I think was actual desire, because in the first one we had one of the more not respected but like well known, like comfortable with the DM and stuff. They had to leave because they had to deal with family stuff. It's like I don't have the free time anymore, and the game pretty much died without them. And I think it was partly because it was a lot of people the DM was not new, it was like they were new to playing with, and it's just kind of like, nah, it wasn't as good anymore. And the last one, I was like, I was only in like 2 or 3 games at the time, and this was going to be a bi-weekly game, and it was doing the Pokemon 5e, which was kind of a lot. I think the system's fine, but I would have a lot more like you spend time grinding and you get your level up, because if you have like 3 Pokemon or something, doing 5e combat to level with 5e level stuff takes a long fucking time. That game would have lasted like 10 years as opposed to a Pokemon game that would be like, I don't know, 100 hours, Yeah. And that one just kind of died because I think of health issues mostly. But like, I kind of find like the games I'm in now, I like a lot. And those other 2 games were, well, one of them was one of my, not the first, I think it was one of the first games that I did in D&D, like tabletop, with other people and stuff. So it was kind of awkward and weird. And the other one, the system's weird, and I didn't agree with a lot of the way it was being run, so I'm fine with not playing anymore. I have to say, like, I have had games die. I
I've been a player in a game that have died. You know what? I've had a bunch of dead on arrival games.
Oh yeah.
Where you have like one session and that session just doesn't work.
I've had a few of those, yeah.
You know, I've had probably a couple dozen of those at this point in time. You know, that I've tried to do a game and
I had a lot of those in college. Because when you're in college, not a lot of people really know each other, right? So it can be awkward and shit. But that's where a lot of the dead games I've had were back in college.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting that I can like list off games that had like a couple of sessions that were really neat and like they just couldn't continue for I don't know what reason. I'm gonna say like every attempt I've had to play run Shadowrun, every one has failed horribly for I have no idea why the hell they can never work.
There was a weird Pathfinder Final Fantasy game that I was in.
Oh,
that was one session.
Yeah, we had
and
one
then
session.
There was never another ping about another session.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that.
None of us know what happened.
Yeah. Because like I almost died in like session
You
one,
almost
combat
died.
one, because like a dude just rushed me and like murdered me.
That's just being a mage in Pathfinder, yeah.
Yeah. And then like,
I have no idea what happened with that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that can happen too. Is like sometimes you just what the hell happens? You don't know.
Yeah.
And you know, it could be on your end. It could be on you know. You just never know what's going on in the game or what's going on with a DM sometimes, and you just gotta like do your best. Like it's not easy for a lot of games. Just that's the thing is like it's the unfortunate thing. I think running a game is a skill and a challenge. No matter what, you know, people say.
Yeah, it's hard to run a game.
And you can do okay at running a game. Certainly, we all can. But you might face issues with running it, and you never know.
Yeah, it can just be hard, and it can be very disheartening to have a game that just it dies and you have to end it, but it genuinely happens, and just try not to feel too bad about it.
Yeah.
Because it happens to every DM has had games where they've just died.
Yep. And it might happen to you. Just you have to think of it that way. Is if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You're just gonna have to try your best. And you know, if you can get the game to work, great. If you can't, it happens.
Yeah.
But I think that's enough talking about that. I mean, like, it's, as I said, it's a different aspect of the entire thing of your game will end, and there's an issue that it needs to end. But this is the one that's like, sometimes you just can't get to an ending, and sometimes it's just going to end, and you got to be ready for it. How about our week in gaming?
Oh, we had those, yeah.
Ooh,
we had
some interesting
game to start. Okay, let's start. Did anybody have anything on Saturday? I didn't.
I did.
Oh, you did?
I didn't.
Oh, no. You didn't. Okay. So then we had Sunday. Is that the only Sunday we did then, I think?
Yes, I think that was the only Sunday.
I guess Lightning, do you want to talk about what you did because you were in charge of it?
Talk about what you did?
Boy, I ran a high-level 5th edition one-shot. I have so many things that I can take from that experience, not even mentioning how the game was. So, we'll just talk about what the game was. I have my setting. I can't pronounce it, but it's like Arphelia or whatever the world is called. Anyway, though, it was I had this big event in the world history where the two major factions through a reason came to blows, and they had a big war. And because how big the world is and travel and stuff, the war lasted a long time. But the war ended when like the first dragons were actually killed in the war, and it was like, oh, this is bad. Maybe we shouldn't continue this. And there's reasons on it for both sides that don't really matter. for the purpose of running the game. But I was like, this is the one time in my world I could have dragon death without mega consequences, because in the current timeline, that would start a war again, and then the war's already happening. So it's like, yeah. And then I went through and I was like, well, I want adult dragons, because ancient dragons would be a nightmare, because that's like level 20.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so level 12 is about like where you'd want to be fighting an adult dragon. And then it's like, okay, well, let's go all out with the feats. And we used every 4 levels plus level 1, you get a feat. And then I went and looked at the magic item tier list. And I was trying to figure out, first of all, I think that is for the party, not the players.
That is for the party, yeah.
It's really hard to figure it out. So I was like, okay, well, I'll lower them and give it to each player, so that they have magic items, they got extra feats, they're high level. We use the better HP rolls, where you roll every level, but you take average if you get less than average. So no matter what, everyone is guaranteed to have average hit points, but they have a little bit more. So these are like, everything is stacked in the player's favor. And I'm like, okay, well, and then we decided to have it on Sunday. So I had to get a 5th person, because I normally run a game on Sunday. So I was taking that time slot. Well, 2 of my 3 players are already in the one-shot. So it's like, I can just make the encounters more difficult for 5. So we get the 5th player. I go and I adjust the encounters so they're more for 5 players instead of 4. And then we're trying to figure out what day. And then it's like, okay, well, we can't do it next week because I'll have to take care of all the kids or whatever. So it's like, okay, well, I'm ready, basically. You can do it this week. And so it's like, okay, so we like, instead of having a week and 2 days, it was like, oh, everyone has to finish their character in 2 days.
Well, the thing is, like, I knew I only needed like 2 hours, but like also like I tried to give myself 2 hours, but it like ended up with like, it just so happened.
We spent an hour of game time finishing your character.
Well, again, like my character was done like only half an hour in, and we were chatting for a while.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like, honestly, what happened to me was, I was going to give myself 2 hours, but when I went out, people were like, hey, we needed to do all these extra stops since you're going out to the one stop you need to do. So my trip, I got back like 45 minutes later than I was planning.
Yeah, no, that's always fun when that one happens.
Yeah. So it's like, well, maybe I can, because I thought like an hour or 2 would be enough, and I was like, I haven't made a high-level 5e character for like ever, so I was like, okay, this is a little bit more, because like Pathfinder character, I'm familiar with a lot of stuff, and I could probably throw together a high-level Pathfinder character in 15 minutes, honestly, because I know a lot of decent magic items. I know
don't play a mage.
Just don't play a mage, honestly, for one thing. Or play like a simple mage, where I'm just like, all buff spells, all healing spells, or play cleric, because then you could just choose it in game or something like that, or like,
cleric or bard. Yeah,
cleric or bard. Throw together I can throw together a simple item list that is just like, it's granted, it's all like buff shit and nothing like unique and interesting, but honestly, it makes it that I can throw together a quick character that works fine and isn't like super overpowered.
Yeah.
With the combination of attunement.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The attunement is hard. Yeah.
Yeah, having that you only have the 2 attunement makes it so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have 3 attunement slots. Pick from this list. Which one do you
Here's
want?
a list of amazing shit. Pick them.
Yeah, pick 3. And also pick them under a certain rarity.
Yeah.
But yeah, the players are decked out in magical items. They got extra feats. They're high level. I changed the final encounter with the dragon the last minute. Not really last minute, but like the morning of.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? These characters, because people were talking about how all the power and stuff they had in the chat, and I'm like, God, if they just fight one dragon, they'll just nuke it.
Oh, that red dragon would have died immediately, dude.
It would have been nuked instantly. So I'm like, you know what? What's a lower CR dragon?
Green.
Black? No, green, because it's con saves and not more dex saves. That's the reason why I was a green dragon. So I had it where it was 2 dragons at the end fight. And basically it was like, the red is just going to land, it's going to attack the ship, it's going to set it on fire, and this is going to leave. Because it can do a bunch of damage with the freaking breath attack, and that's basically, once it uses breath attack, it'll just leave. But you fought some elite hobgoblins and some like super powerful bugbears. Someone got really big and basically just blocked them from going anywhere, and they just got
hell yeah, paladin baby.
Yeah, and then the next encounter, it was a bunch of gnolls. They were high CR gnolls, but they're just gnolls. And there was a mage. The mage was the real threat. I forgot to have them come in greater invisibled. But also one of the players had true seeing on, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Poor mage.
Yeah, and they just got deleted instantly.
Spoilers.
Mage. I gave them extra hit points because that was so much damage in the first round. I was like, no, you don't get to kill them instantly.
I didn't really do anything.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I also didn't do a lot. I mostly just stopped things from moving forward.
The thing is, like,
you did a lot to that dragon.
I did
kill the dragon a lot.
I feel like I think the thing is, I think I made a real character.
You made a real person. I also made a real person, but I also picked the belt of giant strength.
Yeah.
Like, I made a standard paladin sorcerer, which inherently is stronger.
Yeah,
but delving into, I actually did make a character because they started off as sorcerer, so inherently worse. And they moved into paladin because they fought the whole war. I made the whole fucking backstory for this character. So I'm gonna use them in the world.
A backstory.
Yeah, they exist in the world.
Honestly, if you wanted to use mine for the backstory, I'd be fine with that. I made my idea was a half wood elf, half drow that was like, you know, who was basically part of the war council, and then at that battle was like, you know, I got fed up and was like, I gotta help out. You know, things haven't been going well.
Those are two real people in that world.
Yeah,
one was a meme.
I can use 3 of those characters.
Yep.
One of them, I'll when we finish the rest of the thing, I'll tell you what would have happened. But, so I gave the mage extra hit points, even though like realistically I could have because they were like really low hit points for their CR.
Yeah.
And I also they didn't come in with the greater invisibility and stuff, so I kind of screwed that up a little bit. But man, when you have this, like, it was like 8 people or something. It was like 7 gnolls and then the freaking mage. And
that's a lot, dude.
The gnolls kind of just murdered all the crew, which was kind of funny.
Fuck the crew. You know?
Yeah. I forgot. In the very beginning, there was a young black dragon who did a flyby and just like acid breath a whole bunch of people.
Oh yeah, they melted, dude.
Yeah, and Tantus, your bard, cast the irresistible dance or something on it.
Yeah. He made a dragon groove, dude.
Yeah, so it was
so
like
funny.
You know, it was shaking its hips. It was wiggling
I
its
really
head,
should have
like,
saved it for something else, but I didn't know like how many
funny.
dragons we were gonna fight or anything. So I'm just like, this might be the boss dragon. I don't know how far this is going to go for boss. I didn't know if we were gonna have like a chance to rest and have like, you know, something going on shore. You know, I didn't know what was gonna happen. So I was just like, fuck it, irresistible dance.
That was so funny.
It was great. I loved that moment. It died. It was a young black dragon. It was cocky. And the last one is I had the red approach the ship from the bow and the green approach from the stern. And now one of the characters was a gnome druid who rolled hit points and rolled absolutely garbage.
Yeah. I remember seeing the roll.
They basically just turned into an air elemental, and that's all they did for the whole game. Yep. They knocked one of the guys off of the dragon when it flew up, because an ancient red dragon flew up, smashed into the ship, slowed it down, which is why it wasn't moving as fast. And then a bunch of the guys jumped off, right? That was the part of the first encounter. It fucked off and went and blew up a bunch of other stuff, right?
Yeah.
I could technically name drop him because he's like a big, huge, important dude in the world, but it doesn't really matter. So when the other 2 dragons came up, I was like, okay, you guys can see them. They're large. They're huge-sized dragons, right? They're adult dragons. They're huge. So you can see them coming to you. And so it's like you guys can move. You have like a minute or something before they get here, right? Or a couple seconds or whatever. So the druid went to the back along with I think the wizard, but the wizard hid so they wouldn't be attacked instantly.
The sniper.
No, the sniper was in his bottle.
So the sniper was in his bottle.
He wanted to get a short rest, and I was like, your character is so min-max disgusting. I don't really want to give it to you.
Well,
So it's like, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll take some of your turns away from the dragon encounter.
Oh God. Damn.
And I rolled like a D4 or something.
I'm being 100% honest. I hated that character.
I did too.
I'm gonna get to the characters.
We'll talk about him later.
But like, so the dragons come in, and the red. I think you guys. Oh, I think there was a spell that was gonna be thrown at it, and it technically failed, but it would legendary resistance it.
Yeah.
But actually, they were out of range, so they didn't cast that spell.
Yep.
So it came on, landed on the deck, and I think it just instantly breath weaponed.
Yeah.
Breath weapon, yeah. I ate the breath weapon.
It hurt.
I rolled
It was
like
awful, dude.
way above average.
Oh, it was so
on both
painful.
breath
Holy
weapons.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the average is like 67, and when I test rolled, I was rolling like under. I think I rolled under like twice in a row, and like, oh, well, that's not that much. And then I rolled like 70 or 80 fire damage or something. So like, whoa.
Yep. It was spooky.
Like 2 people had like rings of evasion, so it's like I choose to save, and I'm like, good idea.
Nope.
I used the ring of evasion, and then I just took the second breath weapon. I was low health.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
I'm sorry. You were saying you were like took them both, Momo, or something.
I took them both and dropped.
Yeah.
Then I heal you to get you back up. I'm like, get back into the fight.
I finished that fight with 8 HP.
Oh, yeah. But the druid, who is in air elemental form, is immune to poison damage. And the green dragon, which I chose at random based on CR, because I'm like, you know what? I don't want 2 deck save things. Let's get con. And I chose either I was going to pick white or I was going to pick green. And I'm like, nah, let's pick green, because they were going to be dumb regardless of what I picked. So the air elemental druid is soloing this adult green dragon, like actually soloing. I think they did like 80 damage.
It was amazing to see.
It was great. We're not going to talk about what they wanted to do to the dragon, because no, thank you.
Yeah, no, that made me a little uncomfortable.
But like, one of the things I kind of forgot a lot was I forgot about their legendary actions. Their reaction.
I'll just say I had shenanigans with an immovable rod that shouldn't really work. Comically, they would work. Or like, like desperation. You're not supposed to fight this. Maybe the DM would let you to work. Yep. It was an expansion on that, and not a great way.
No, it was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually the green was like, I don't want to fight this thing anymore. It's awful. And so I think it attacked it, and then it used its movement to land on the ship.
Yeah.
And by that point, I think the red was like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, the red had soaked like 100 smite damage.
It had taken, I think, more than 100 damage. I think you had done like 130
I
damage to it.
just kept smiting it.
Because smite and like you have like a plus 12 to hit or a plus 11. It's like
smite and I think I had a plus 12 because I only had a plus 1 weapon.
But you rolled a lot of 30s.
I did roll a lot
and they weren't crits.
No, I never crit once.
No, I thought you crit one time.
I did crit. I crit the Hobgoblin Commander, and that was it.
Oh, and you like obliterated.
I deleted like all of its HP.
Yeah, that Hobgoblin Commander guy, he actually had a lot of cool abilities I could use.
Well,
but he got focused instantly, and like, well, he's dead. So the Red Dragon's like, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. But I was being very nice because I knew how strong this encounter was, and one of the players could speak Draconic. Now I believe the reason why, because normally no one, like, you don't talk to dragons, they don't teach you.
Yeah.
So I think the way we reasoned it is you had a Dragonborn.
Yeah.
Who were creations of dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And so they spoke Draconic. And you learned Draconic from them.
Yep.
So because you were a mage and because you spoke Draconic, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be nice. It's going to try and cast a spell. You can give me an Arcana check. And so I think I gave perception check
Yeah,
to
perception to the mage, yeah. To the
but
wizard.
their DC was way higher. I think their DC was like 25 or something like stupid.
It would have been like interpreting. It's like, oh hey, that's casting a spell
That
like I
looks
do,
like
but different.
Magic?
Yeah, it's like
So it was gonna cast see invisibility because it's not stupid. It knows there's someone invisible around here because it keeps getting shot with arrows, and it got counterspelled.
Oh, God, yeah.
And so it's like, oh well, that's. I mean, it stops the spell. They didn't know what spell it was. Basically, what it was is, the paladin sorcerer was like, hey, that's see invisibility, and like through like free action, like it's casting a spell. So he's just like, I cast counter spell, right? He had no idea what level spell it was, only that it was a spell being cast.
Yep.
It's a level 2 spell. It just counts with it. You know, it's like, okay, it fails. Great use, right? And then more or less after that, it was like, I don't want to be on this boat anymore. This boat sucks.
Fuck this
These people
boat.
are
I'm
actually
going over
hurting.
there.
Yeah, so it starts flying away. And this is when the green jumps down, and I think it breathed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Dropped.
And it rolled high.
It dropped
Again.
me by 2 HP.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. And
I kicked myself out of the game because I'm like, I almost took Resilient to have con save. And I'm like, no, I'm going to take Slasher instead, which never came up because I never crit.
and also you never moved because isn't one of the other things is it slows them down?
Yeah.
Yeah, people. That's good for mobile.
So
Like,
I
if you're
wasn't
playing-
expecting the whole thing to be we're on the airship. Because I didn't know what it was going to be, obviously. I thought maybe it was gonna
I
be some
said
random
it was
stuff.
going to be that.
Well, I
so-
forgot. That's on me.
I forgot some things about it too, honestly, because like
Sometimes there was a lot of chat in there, so it.
Things get buried. very
I
fast.
read about probably 10% of what went through there.
Because Cell
like,
gets
Yeah.
buried. People get excited when talking about their builds, and then it gets buried. And I'm like, I don't want to read these 100 messages, dude.
it's too
I mean,
many.
I tend to read everything that's posted in my Discord because it's my Discord,
Yeah.
but also it's not super active that I can just do that.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same for like, you know, if you guys are chatting about something in Buccaneers, I try to read through all of it and notice everything, but it's like sometimes hard to get all the details.
This is meme. I'm not gonna bother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one red is like gonna fly away. At this point, I'm basically like, it's done with the encounter, right? It's the green dragon, but a certain person was like, no, I want to keep shooting the red dragon. So it's like, all right, it's still alive. It still had 100 and something hit points. You're not just gonna kill it in
The
one
dragons
round.
have a lot of HP.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
But they were like triple advantage archery thing. It was
God.
a sharpshooter, extra damage. And we'll get to that in a minute. Because there's a really important thing that I wanna bring up, but we'll get through the entire combat. So the green kind of came down. It started messing people. I believe the red understood that it was trying to have Hold Monster cast on it a couple times. So it cast Hold Monster back on the wizard. Thankfully, the wizard was on a broom, so they didn't just plummet to their death and instantly die. Good for them. But the green is an opportunist. So he sees this held person. He runs over there and is like, I'm going to kill this person. And just 3 attacks, 2 claws and a bite. And I think they went down. I think they finally went down. But again, they were like on the broom. And I was being nice.
I think you had them roll a save.
Yeah, I could. Well, they would have failed the save because it would have been a dexterity save.
True,
And if you're unconscious, you automatically fail. So I was just being nice and being like, yeah, you survive. Because I like when my players win. But I wanted to make it feel like this was a real encounter. And so I forget what happened. I think the sniper just sniped it to death.
Yes, I think so.
I think I hit it with a sword.
Oh yeah, you
That's
killed it. You killed it because Sniper was continually going after red.
I think that's what happened. I don't remember.
Now,
well, they ignored the red on the second turn when the green dropped the.
Yeah,
wizard.
I think so. Look, I got a little frustrated here with a moment that happened. I will say that it was frustrated because I was very support but couldn't do a lot, and when someone decided to do a certain thing with the ship when we weren't losing.
We were actually winning. Yeah.
And it was like, we're gonna lose! Blow up the ship!
That frustrated me a lot too.
Why? We're doing well!
That's when I started getting that headache after like 4 hours of D&D. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this fucking shit right now, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I would understand if we actually had people down and we were losing.
If we had like 2 people down, I understand it. I would have. Well, if I was up, I would have grabbed you, summoned my bird. We would have fucked off. Ship blows up.
Yeah, but like, we were still doing fairly well in the combat. I feel like it was very premature, and that's why I was like, it frustrated me.
You hit the button a little too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the air elemental was tanking the freaking green dragon. We needed
could have killed that green dragon.
We needed the air elemental.
Probably could have.
It was right at the time where I'm like, we need you.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Yeah, come help. Like, one person's down, another person went down. Yeah.
They went down, honestly, because he left the green dragon and it just went and killed the rest of us then. Because we'd already been...
The green dragon was going to ignore the elemental because it realized that I can't poison this thing.
Yeah.
Because it has an 18 intelligence. Even though it was, stupid and reckless, he was more cocky and overconfident rather than dumb, right? Because if he used his breath weapon on there, it'd be like, well, it does nothing. Yeah. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. I want to use this second breath weapon on the rest of the party.
Yeah.
This is where we'll start getting into what should have happened, but I'll tell you why it didn't happen. I removed the red dragon from the combat map because it flew away.
Mm-hmm.
And the combat had already been very long. It was, when you do one-shots, they're usually not the standard, 3 hours.
No, they're usually, sometimes 4 to 5.
Yeah, so I was like, you guys have won. How do you get off the ship? And it was like, I want to go kill that red dragon. It's like, okay, well, it's really far away. I guess I'll give you a perception.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, what would have happened is I didn't want to have the combat go on any longer. Instead of just double moving every single turn, it would have done the fly to do the 80 things to get away, right? Then it would have cast heal on itself. Boom. 70 more hit points.
Mm-hmm.
And then as next turn, it would have flown 80 more feet away, and then it would have cast see invisibility again.
Yep.
And so when you guys would have teleported out there, it would have seen you. We would have rolled initiative. You wouldn't have had the triple advantage from your gross sniper person. And then it would have breath weaponed you guys for 70 damage.
Fuck that sniper, dude.
Honestly, it was just... I think my entire thing of doing that is I was feeling so frustrated because of, it was a couple of things that happened that made me feel frustrated. I think is what had happened there. Granted, I understand my build wasn't meant to be super effective.
Yeah.
I think you did pretty well with it.
I did pretty decent. I feel like, but there were certain things that I couldn't do to help out. I'm not a big damage dealer as a bard, and there were. It was just that I just feel like the turn of the green dragon and its breath, and then we're still fighting it on our own, just began this frustration chart on me that I unfortunately at that point in time I was feeling vengeful.
Yeah.
I just wanted to murder that thing. I just really did. It was very unrealistic.
Fair.
I understand.
Fair.
Yeah, and it's kind of I was just like, yeah, whatever. I
It's
think
a
it had
one-shot. Who cares?
it would have had 5 hit points left or something. Because when it ran away, it had 120, and then it took 80 damage or something. I think maybe it wasn't 80 damage, but it took a lot. I think it was at 46 or 50 hit points, and then it got shot again for 20 or something. It wasn't a lot, or 30 damage or something. So it's still alive, and it's out of range now. But I didn't want to keep doing combat.
Yeah.
That's why I deleted it off the map. It's not a threat anymore. It's gone.
If I was running it, I just would have been like, you can't fight in the battle. There's too much going on.
I was being nice, and I shouldn't have been.
Yeah. When I see a build like what that man was, I'm like, all right, I'm not being nice to your character.
Yeah, I could have started having the dudes just start drinking see invisibility potions when it started happening, because it would make sense that they have them.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah, it's fine.
It's a one shot.
His build was insane.
I
just
his build mildly ruined a portion of that for me, because the mage, right? I was like, cool. I'm gonna go fucking suplex that mage. Oh, it's dead.
It died in 1 round.
Okay, I guess I'll deal with these gnolls.
And I feel like there was some. I'm sorry. Even like I don't know everybody else's builds. I'm going to say that for sure. Druid seemed like a druid. You seemed fine.
The druid was a classic druid. It just had 2 levels of barbarian.
Yeah,
I was the classic sword paladin.
Even our like wizard seemed fine.
The wizard was
So the wizard was fine, except they were using the one rule exploit of you can recharge your ward with Armor of Shadows.
Yeah.
It was a one-shot, so that's like whatever, right? But the full campaign, you just shut that down.
Yeah.
It was a way to like get more hit points or something.
So the Arcane Ward is you can give it hit points to soak damage when you pump a spell into it. Yeah, Armor of Shadows gives you mage armor for free. You can just keep casting it.
Yeah, you can just cast mage armor.
Any DM will just be like, no. But since there's
they were 1 warlock and a bunch of 11 wizard or something.
You don't even have to do the warlock. You just take Eldritch Adept.
Oh, maybe they just had the feat.
I don't remember if they were warlock or not, but
they might have just had the feat for the Eldritch Invocation. I didn't see it at the time. Now I know.
It's much easier of an exploit to shut down.
Yeah, just be like no.
No,
the other one, they were half elf. They took elven accuracy. They took sharpshooter, and they took crossbow expert.
Yeah,
they used I allowed a repeating hand crossbow, but it wouldn't have mattered, I don't think.
No, because by the way the feat is normally written, you just don't need to reload.
Yeah.
Which again is something that DM can shut down, but that's just like a whole fucking argument.
But the real kicker was they cast Improved Invisibility on themselves, which gave them the triple advantage.
Yes.
Which is just gross.
Yeah, no, that character kind of ruined a portion of that one shot for me.
Yeah, they also had like 1 level of fighter for archery fighting style for a +2.
Because I went into this thinking, okay, because I don't know what anyone was playing. I'm like, okay, I need to spec into damage, so I'm going to take this belt that gives me 25 strength. Sunblade, that's decent damage. I'm a Kitsune. I can logic that out. Sure, that's a shrine item. That's like an artifact.
Yeah.
I sacrificed tankiness for that. And I'm like, okay, I've got my strength damage. I hit a lot. And then this dude comes in averaging 20 damage an attack.
Yeah. And 3 attacks per round.
Yeah.
Because they had extra attack and bonus action attack. It was very gross.
It was disgusting.
Yeah, because I think they were the warlock that you can get like the extra attack on.
Yeah, they were doing Hexpo, kind of. I think. Or
Hexpo.
Something similar to it.
Yeah, that's what it was. And it was just kind of like, wow, that like the
gold asked for a short rest.
But like the thing is, just them being a ranged character really put them out of combat for the most part.
Yeah.
And then it was the fact that greater invisibility was thrown on top of it for rolling 3d20 and taking the best result.
Yeah. It was just awful.
Yeah.
I've faced builds like that. I do not like builds like that. In a one shot I can understand just being like whatever, but
it's why
it gets worse actually.
Oh god.
Because they messaged me and were like, hey, is it fine if my character's like a criminal or something? And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. It's a one-shot. Who cares? But then they had this entire thing like, oh, I was this legendary assassin. I went around killing all these heads of states and stuff, and they finally caught me. But I had this genie power, so they couldn't get any of the magical items that I stole, which is why I have all these magical items. And I'm like, that is so
they just
bad.
You.
Yeah.
I think it might be I hate that character more now somehow.
Yeah, that and you if you look, that game doesn't exist anymore. I went and I got rid of it. I deleted the game. I deleted the channel that it was in. Like, granted, I was done with it anyway. And all the stat blocks, they were basically just standard stat blocks. Yeah. I just gave a couple of them more hit points. And I didn't even give them a lot more hit points. Like the bugbears you guys fought, I just rounded them up. They had like 150 hit points or something, or 155. I give them 160. I just rounded them up.
Yeah, like I
they
mean,
really weren't anything like
man, looking at
mega
that
powerful.
character and then looking at mine, I was like, I don't know if I want to take all these powerful items. They're like, this belt's like pretty strong. Maybe I should take like something else. And I'm like, oh, he's done that. Fuck me. Why did I feel bad?
Well, look, I vaulted that character at that time. I liked my character.
Well, you still have it then. Congratulations.
I could easily rebuild mine because I have the core stat array saved.
Yeah, but like I liked my character, honestly. I thought it was fun.
My character, her whole backstory was, at the start of the war, her village was burned down and her mate was murdered, so she swore vengeance and joined the war, and she got all of her paladin levels through the war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like diplomat, politician. I felt like the reason I was an important politician was honestly because my two parents were from two different worlds. I was able to from the wood elves and the drow, and I was like in between them. I kind of filled that position in between there.
It'd be kind of hard to justify the bard's level because you're like, oh, I was like a bureaucrat or diplomat or something. It's like, it'd be kind of hard to get level 12 pushing papers.
I probably had stuff that happened to me before that. I think because it's been 100 years and I made myself in the 300s. Maybe my first from adulthood is when I gained all those levels. I went on adventures or something for the first 120 years of my time.
When the world was young.
Yeah.
The way I could look at it, because you were 200 when the war started, roughly, right?
Yeah.
You could have had some pre-existing adventures that got you up to level 6 or level 8 or something, and then you kind of were like, well, maybe you got hurt, and so you weren't I don't really want to get into another big huge war or another combat or whatever. So you're I'll work the scene from behind the scenes, and as reports keep coming in about all these defeats and all these losses and the amount of people lost and resources destroyed, maybe towards the end of it you're I gotta get out there, I can't just sit back here, and that's where you got the rest of your levels.
Yeah, I could have been involved with some other smaller things up until now, and this was the major thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the druid had they were super old, so it's
They were
makes sense.
They were bleaching.
Yeah, they died canonically in that battle. They fought till they died because that was what the character wanted to do. So that character I can use. That established a type of magical item in the world, which gives 2 extra uses of wild shape. They didn't use it in the game, but I can use that item again in that world, and there's some background and meaning to it. I can't really use the wizard, and I for sure will not use the criminal.
Canonically, the criminal was executed after the battle.
Probably. I mean, if you think about what should have happened, is it would have cast heal. It now has maybe 80 hit points or something. It had its breath weapon on the back. You teleport. Oh, you attack it. Well, you don't have your triple advantage. So, yeah, maybe you do some damage. It's still alive. It flies up there and a breath attacks you guys.
Well, now, I was going to be plummeting. He was flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the bard would have been fine.
The bard probably would have just went bye, I guess.
That was my plan, was just to drop him off because he was fly. I was just getting him close.
Yeah. And then, so now he's, you have a fly speed. Well, it's a dragon. It has a better fly speed than you.
Fast.
And, now it's in melee range with you. It has see invisibility. You don't have your triple advantage anymore. What are you going to do? Maybe he would have still killed that dragon, but if he dropped to 0, goodbye to your flight speed, and you've hit the ground at 100 miles an hour, and you die. But I just didn't want to do the combat anymore because it had already been so long, and it's I felt that was spite monster mode.
Yeah, a little bit. The green dragon and the double dragon fight was pretty fun and satisfying, and I felt that was enough.
I think it towards the end of that battle, I was getting frustrated, but for different reasons, honestly.
I just had a bad headache at the end of that battle.
Yeah, it was long. It was way longer than I wanted.
I was
but we
5
also
hours,
started. We started late for one, which didn't help.
No.
And there was a little bit of to roleplay because I wasn't. I was fine with adding roleplay.
Game.
Yes.
I will definitely not give that many items again.
Yep.
There was so much useless junk I had. I've got to admit.
I used most of my consumables.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of had to. I built the fight.
I just
to
kept
be that
drinking
hard.
potions.
Dude, I have a lot of stuff that I just didn't use. I think the necklace of fireballs was like the only thing I used up just to do some extra
Oh,
damage.
you used all of them on the green dragon.
Yeah.
I remember that.
You
Yeah.
yeeted the whole thing.
And you rolled so bad
I
on the
rolled it so badly.
It was so sad.
I
Oh, I
think it
did
had
call my
like
character.
10 hit points left.
Did anybody have anything on a Monday?
Monday, no.
How about Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah, lightning.
Ooh.
I'll talk about that once. You did a whole mouthful.
Oh, we fought worm
We
monsters.
had an hour of shopping, which doesn't count as game time in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out in the desert and got attacked by some big fuzzy worm monsters.
Fuzzy worm monsters. They're different. They're not.
They're fuzzy sandworms.
So they're canonically different from graboids or
Yeah,
aka tremors. They're fuzzy instead.
They attacked our truck, and then we killed one of them and fucked off.
So
Well-
they were just fuzzy graboids. Okay.
They
But-
were just fuzzy graboids.
There's an important note.
We learned that the GM wanted our car to be destroyed, which would have stranded us like 100 kilometers from the nearest city, so we would have just died, I guess. I don't know what the plan to get out of that one was.
Yeah, like we use repair parts. Spare
that's
parts
what-
only do
if
so
a-
much.
If a worm has eaten half your truck, I don't think my spare parts are going to work.
Yeah, that was like
Yeah, that was
you didn't think of that one through, did you?
No, did not.
And then there
went
was
to
a
weird-
chance for more random encounters, which is just
God,
like why?
that was a thing. And we went to the fucking tower, and there was some horrible abomination to God.
Hurrah!
Yeah, that was that session. We only played 2 hours, and by 2 hours, I mean 1 hour, because an hour of it was shopping.
Yep, an
Um,
hour of shopping and maybe 40 to 50 minutes of actual game.
Yep. Yeah, it's a game.
That was what happened. I
It's a
flew through
game.
a hole, and
You
then
flew
just
through a
rested.
hole, and you slept. I
Yeah.
put a box in a hole, and then a thing happened.
You released an ancient evil that
Honestly-
probably is going to destroy the universe.
Honestly, if it
Session
stops
3.
this game from being run. Yeah, session 3, World Ending Threat showed up, you know?
Right.
You too.
Honestly, I'm glad I didn't join that. It was just like I wanted some more evenings off to like have
It's a mess.
options. Honestly,
It's a messy game.
Yeah.
as much as I like to be in a lot of these things, it's sort of like I want to be able to like figure out a lot more of my schedule, especially because I want to like maybe start 1 or 2 new games. So I got to figure out when I'm doing them, and having an open schedule helps that.
I was like, I'll give Stars Without Number another chance. Because normally I don't like that system that much. Because I don't really like OSR that much. OSR can be good with a good DM. I don't think this guy doesn't know how to run OSR.
I made a pretty long comment.
You made a really long comment, and I agreed with like all of it.
It's basically like, I don't mind if
'Cause-
this is like some not actual world-ending threat. Like,
Yeah,
that's fine.
because we had
It's just-
a session 0 where like me and Lightning were like, well, we don't really want like a world ending threat. We want kind of like a Star Trek adventure, right? Where we're just going exploring and doing shit.
Yeah.
I hope the game goes back to that.
Yeah, so I basically typed that.
If it doesn't, I might. If it doesn't, I might drop.
Yeah, honestly, if the game is just oops all combat, I wanted to play. I'm more interested in playing Star Trek than Star Wars at this point.
Yeah, I wanted like the Star Trek-y of you go and explore. I have 8 HP by the way, and it's a combat game apparently.
Yeah, I have 10. because I
OSR,
rolled that.
OSR, you don't get HP.
I think the thing is, Stars Without Numbers, I feel like it lends itself well to something in between Star Wars and Star Trek.
Yeah, you can
Yes.
have combat, but you don't have it every session.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
it has rules for
more.
combat.
I think that'd be more like Firefly.
Yeah, it's good for Firefly kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really good for
Like
me.
I like the system in some ways. I don't like it in others. That's just my problem with OSR. It's old.
We also have the problem of 2 of the characters are like oops all
Oh,
skills.
God, yeah. So Cell built like a skill monkey, which you never do in OSR because that invalidates everyone else. And then all of Lightning skills are overlapped by someone else.
Yeah.
Who is better at them.
Yes,
Oh,
way better at
shit.
them. They have a
They have the focus where
foci.
you roll 3d6 instead of 2.
Yeah, and then they have a +2 in the other one that I have a 0 in.
So
And
all you have is psychic abilities.
all I have is heal, and the other one I have not used at all.
Yeah,
It's precog. Spoilers, I'm precog.
It doesn't become useful until like tier 2, honestly.
Yeah, I'm tempted to put it to 2 when I level up.
You might as well so you can actually do something.
But I mean, it's not even going to be useful.
No, because we don't have the spaceship part for it.
Yeah, no. Like, what am I going to do at my next level? I'm probably gonna, I don't know. I'll just bump up my con to 14, so I have another +1 to my hit points, or +3, I guess. And I'm fine playing this like party mom who can heal people.
Yeah.
But when we have this much combat and we have skills where everyone else is like better at them, I don't know why I'm here.
I kind of in the group chat had to be like, hey, Cell, please do not pick the fix skill. That's the only thing I can do. Let me have that, please, because you already have talk, you have sneak. Those are the other 2 things I'm good at.
Yeah. And like, if you split up the party, it's good to have a little bit of skills, or you can assist
not
with
this
doing
much
stuff.
Overlap, man.
It's like 100% overlap.
This system, there should have been more communication, but there wasn't, and that happens.
I think that's the thing, is that seems to be an issue. Like, even with Pathfinder, you can have someone specialized. Sometimes it's good to have other people with it, and also, like, honestly, you know, it's sort of like... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
There's some skills everyone should have. Like in Pathfinder, everyone should have knowledge local in Pathfinder.
I'm gonna be honest, like, diplomacy. If someone fails, someone else with the diplomacy wouldn't be bad to have, because honestly, or either to help out, or, you know, maybe sometimes there's points in times where both of you can try separately.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, that's that game. It's a thing.
We have Wednesday.
We had tired time.
I hope it gets better after my big
I hope it gets better, too.
Anything other than Buccaneers on Wednesday? Or is that just...
No, just Buccaneers.
Buccaneers was fine. I feel like it was a That's the thing about this place is...
All combat.
There's a lot of combat in this place.
It was 3 hours of a single combat.
Well, there was 2 combats.
There was 2 combats. Well, the other combat was pretty short.
The other combat was pretty short. I feel like... The thing is, I made the decision, and I rolled it right there in front of when we started, and I feel like that was probably... Maybe I should have just done 1 roll. But it was sort of like, I knew how many patrols they had out there. So I was like, okay, 2 of the patrols come back. In the book, you know, because they talk about, like, some of the random encounters, I knew how many extra Cyclopses I could pull upon from that information. And I'm like, okay, 2 of the patrols came back. It's a D8 each of those patrols. I roll. Got 11 between the 2 of them. That's a lot.
It could have ended badly, but it ended fine. And I think I'm fine with this outcome because it gives me a reason to have Rio go to the party and be like, hey, I need to take a step back off the ship. I'm going to stay on the island for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he's been through some shit on this fucking island. He needs a break.
Yeah.
Hang out with the wizard that no one cares about.
I gotta be honest.
Cute wizard.
Like... Except for, like, the in quotation boss fight, most of the other fights are going to be like the gargoyle ones.
Yeah, because I know, I know a Cyclops is like Tier 5. Their big thing is they can choose to crit.
Yeah.
They're not that hard.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, there are more groups of Cyclopses. There's none the size of the group. Like, you know, like, the amount that was there was what made that difficult and long.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I assumed that was kind of the bulk at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that would be a good chunk of it, like, what their forces are. There's, like, honestly, like, I think 3 other main Cyclops encounters other than the boss, and then a couple of other things around the area. As I said, like, there's, like, maybe 7 more encounters that you can have.
There was that boss that got wished away.
The boss was with other Cyclops training.
So that encounter is inherently much easier now.
Yeah. It's now just the other Cyclopses.
Yeah.
So,
I see the island taking, if we're efficient, 2 sessions, maybe 3 if we're inefficient.
you've been really efficient when it comes to combat type things. I can see it probably being the two. Like,
we kill things very quickly.
you went through the Sahuagin caves in like a session.
Yeah.
Power trip.
Kind of did.
You did.
Honestly, it ended fine.
Mm-hmm. So I can see this going pretty quickly too, honestly.
Yep.
Now that like this big encounter, which honestly it was a little bigger than I thought it would be.
If I did the thing right, this is what they said, because I've not done Pathfinder encounters. I only know the 5e equivalent or whatever, which is done by XP. That was a CR11 encounter or CR12,
which is above normal on the higher end.
You're level 10.
We're level 10. It's a doable encounter.
Yeah, it's doable because theoretically you could take on a CR13 encounter.
Yeah, CR13 is like the highest end of what we could take.
You had a bard who wasn't like
super
awesome.
If anyone could fucking read Jacob's sheet, it would have gone a lot smoother. But
you also lost
I tried,
one of your damage dealers like right away.
I tried. I don't understand what anything on that sheet means.
I will tell you, the bard at very least was doing maybe not super effective, but like was doing standard bard things.
He took a guy out of combat. That was fine.
He did. Guy out of combat who barfed for like a minute. For what was it, 30 seconds or?
It was a literal minute. It was 10 rounds.
Continual stream of vomiting.
One solid minute of vomiting,
which is horrific.
Oh god! As someone who's vomits sometimes, as a human being, they are never pleasant experiences.
No, it's always painful.
They're so bad, especially if it's a lot. Right, like if you're like get really sick and you throw up what you ate or whatever, then you're fine. And it's like, wow, that sucked, but you feel a lot better afterwards.
Yeah.
But like when it's something that's like you're dry heaving.
Yeah, a lot.
Oh,
when you're in the bathroom sitting next to the toilet because like your body is thinking and you're so like you never know when something's gonna try to get and it doesn't come.
It's hell.
It's hell.
It's hell.
And
that guy suffered.
That guy suffered before you killed him.
He deserved it.
He was going to eat you. You were delicious.
Yeah, that was accurate. I think that was a fine session. I don't want to play a summoner ever again.
It's the thing that like it reminds me of how difficult summoners are and how much I like. Yeah.
It wouldn't be hard if every monster had augmented summon done on the website, but only about half of them do.
Yeah.
If you were summoning only like very powerful creatures and you had the entire stat block ready and you only summoned like 3 things, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like I summon this, pull that sheet out. I summon this, pull that sheet out.
What I'm probably gonna do for the rest is I'm only gonna summon like the large elementals or do like summon 4.
Like
I'm probably not gonna do 1 through 3 anymore.
I'll tell you the usable summon build would be to like every time you got a level, choose like 2 or 3 a new level of summoning, 2 or 3, set the stat blocks for them, have them ahead of time. They're never gonna level up, so it's like easier. Like I got new level summon level 1. Hey, we've gained 2 levels. I got summon level 2. Here's the 3 I'm gonna choose from, and just do that.
Because the only reason I threw a bunch of apes, I was like, I'm just gonna have them over there to stop that group. So we can deal with this group.
Honestly,
delayed them.
That's the kind of thing is like I would suggest if someone wants to play summoner, because honestly a summoner could occasionally summon, but mostly it's just oops all Eidolon. I gotta tell you, like I've had people that have
it's just Eidolon, yeah.
Eidolon's just really good, But you don't really have a reason to summon anything else unless you have your like big meat kill shield in front of you.
Yeah. What you do is you summon kobolds with crossbows.
True.
I mean, I will always remember an evil summoner that was in our evil campaign who named her summoner, I think it was like Gareth or something, and it was a humanoid one, so we knew what she was doing with her summon.
Yeah.
Does that count as being with yourself because you're summoning it? I don't know.
No.
Well, no, you're summoning an extraplanar boyfriend.
That's an incarnation. That's an incarnation of your will. Yeah, something like that.
That's fine.
Yeah, I made my own. Oh, you use your magic to make your own boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Jacob's gonna do.
Well,
with a girlfriend.
They already exist.
Yeah, they already exist. He's just gonna wish to be like, can you be my girlfriend? I wish that you would. And she's like, I guess so.
What a fuck. He's such a fuckboy.
How about Thursday?
I had a Thursday game.
Oh man, Thursday.
It was some investigations into a shipwreck. And you used spells and learned things.
I talked for like
You talked for
an
most of
hour
it.
and a half, maybe 2 hours.
You went and talked to everyone. You were very efficient.
I'm playing a noble lady, so I went to talk to like every important person in the town I could think of, and like try and piece together this puzzle. And I don't think I have to talk to anyone for at least a session or two now.
You're good. You got most of the information you'll need.
Oh, until new information comes up,
Until
I
there's
don't
new
have to go to those
information,
people.
because you learned missing person from the mayor, and she's like, "Hey, if you find this person, I'll pay."
Yeah,
you
I also learned that it was a sister
from someone's mom.
Oh, his mom. Yeah.
You learned from the lizard guy that he knew this lady was fucking around with some fae.
Yeah, she was investigating fae. She was doing it like really recklessly, apparently.
So
she must have been kidnapped by them.
You have the groundwork to do your actual investigation, though. You don't gotta talk to anyone else.
We also killed a necromancer.
You did kill a necromancer, who, by the way, you could have actually talked to and gotten 2 more quests.
Well, he was evil.
So I'm just pulling quests from Lost Mines, because Lost Mines is the side quest adventure. That necromancer has 2 quests. He's dead now.
Well,
so those
he's
quests
dead.
Don't exist.
So we get 2 quests worth of experience from that.
No. So you killed this necromancer who
we were told to deal with him.
Yeah, the priest wanted him dead.
Yeah, so we did what the priest wanted. It was priest day.
Priest day.
That's what Lynn called it, priest day. So you went and killed a dude. You got a weird ring, which I think was a ring of protection or something.
Yeah, I think I gave it to our snake lady.
Which, honestly, the monk should have it.
Yeah, because they're playing a monk. I can get better armor.
Yeah. So, I ended Children of Wrath.
You did end Children of Wrath.
It was probably the best ending I could have, honestly.
They should have all died.
A better ending would have been Kazran being executed by the state.
Gotta be honest, it
would have been the correct ending, but it would have been a bad ending for the player.
It wouldn't have been fun.
It wouldn't have been fun. I gave him your house arrested for a while, and then you have to be put in charge of some people. So honestly, he'll have some time to grow and mature.
Kazran he's never gonna have another day of his life where he's not being watched every minute of his life.
I gotta be honest, that's also the other thing too. If he's in charge of a place, people from the other... It's a branch of a school. There's people from the original schools that's probably there watching and making sure he does well.
Yeah.
Yes. He's never going to be alone and, unwatched and, he's like, yeah, my bag technology, I'm going to only have it. I'm like, yes. The thing is, you can't only have it. Your research is going to be sealed away. I'm sure Talaria has, a section of... This is because again, they are about intelligence. They're not going to get rid of Urza's research.
Yes.
They're going to seal it away so we're only very trusted people can ever look at it to be all these genealogy and things that are probably really horrible, magical genetics technology. Can we do good stuff with it?
Probably.
Probably, but it's probably really awful.
Yeah.
It's the thing that we got to be honest, in real life, a lot of developments we have were based on horrible things that Nazis did and stuff like that.
In real life, the guy who invented modern fertilizer used his research to invent the chlorine gas.
Yeah. And there's again, the entire thing of there was a whole lot of really awful things like Nazi and other researches from World War II that we took and we actually used to do really good things medically. Yep. It's really awful stuff.
Yep. Children of Wrath ended. I thought the ending was fine.
I had narrated a lot.
The ending was the most I think I'd ever talked in that game.
It was me, the narration, for most of the game, unfortunately.
This isn't on you or the game. It's hard for me as a player. I had no connection to any of these characters aside from Nim. So I was like, I'm sure this is like really cool, but I have no fucking idea what's going on.
It was just, I needed to do something to, like, bring in the old characters and
Like
this and
I
that.
think the end was fine, but it's just because I came in late. I'm like, all right, I accept that I don't know who these people are. That's fine.
It also required me to, like, kind of figure out ways to have resolutions for everybody that sounded decent,
Yeah.
And that was easier said than done. Like, Carrie and Kaz were hard to come up with good resolutions for, because honestly, neither of them wanted anything to do with the world in a way, or like anything that would make sense for their characters to have a resolution. Carrie just wanted to be Carrie, which is like, what the fuck do I do with a resolution for you then?
They get a harem and they rule like a small kingdom or whatever. That's it.
They didn't want that.
No, Carrie didn't want that, famously.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're part of a queen's harem or something. Who knows?
Who knows?
Carrie might want that.
I left her thing like a little bit more nebulous because of that. You have some choices. I don't know which one you take. Kaz's, it was the easiest. I did that because it's sort of, honestly, again, with what he has developed and what he did, like, it's hard to express how, like, the world almost ended when people tore a hole in it, and he's like, it won't happen again. No one trusts him on that. No one would trust him on that. He had developed a way to basically almost end the world again. Something that happened because of a lot of apocalyptic events. You know how many people would want him dead?
Oh, everyone.
Yeah. I had to come up with a way to, like, they make sure not to murder you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be, like, real honest. There's probably, like, a direct line to Cole. It's like, hey, if this idiot, does anything bad, just, give me the word and I'll send some assassins or something.
I did like,
Make it look like an axe.
Honestly, someone who's like, I liked Maxwell and Claude's resolution. Maxwell coming back and having a resolution, and honestly,
that was cool.
Tying into Cole, that felt good,
Yeah.
That was kind of neat.
Big happy family.
Yeah,
I feel like, Cole, he started the game as kind of, a bit of a ruthless dude who's like, I just want, to make everything good for specifically my family. And I feel like Maxwell coming in was like, you know what? Maybe Maxwell convinced Cole to do things for other people that were nicer.
I mean, still rule over the nation.
Yeah, I mean, he is eventually going to just control everything.
Yeah.
But he might be nicer about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like, I liked how we did Claude's ending a little bit, too. That he, honestly, him going off with Slarbad is probably the best thing that I could have done for him, because he's like...
That was the good goblin, right? The one everyone liked?
Slarbad was the one everyone but Kaz liked.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care what Kaz thinks.
Well, Kaz is not a person.
He was the Buffalin, who's like a paladin goblin, and like an actual hero.
The real hero of the story.
The
actual hero.
And so, he got his... got something there. So, it ended. I sped through a lot of exposition on big bads and storylines, and,
I just want to say, I made this joke to Momo, I'm pretty sure, that if you ran all of these as real encounters, it would have taken forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
sometimes
that's kind of one of the things.
Shit.
Like when I did the narrated end to the boat adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
I had it as an option. I had stats set up. I had like a little, like a cool little thing that would happen if like someone went down, and when people were like, "I just narrate it." Well, I narrated the going down part where it's like, you guys died at least once, maybe more times. It's just, if you feel dead because you're fighting like the super lich, right?
Yeah.
And I thought I did a pretty good job narrating.
You did all right. Yeah, I think it was satisfying.
Yeah.
But
sometimes you have to narrate.
Yeah. I just, when I was able to sit back and count the number of episodes and figure out I had done 104 episodes.
Yeah.
2 exact years worth, and it had been 2 years and 10 months of gameplay.
Ugh.
I could see where the points, like, I could look at my, like, points and be like, here's where I was dragging on in the story. You know, I could tell there's some places that I dragged on, but certainly it's sort of like, a lot of these places that should have taken, like, 1 or 2 sessions took, like, 5 with this group.
Sometimes you enable your players, and it's a good thing. Sometimes you enable the players, and it's a bad thing.
Yes.
I think it was just that, like, the first, like, honestly, like, probably 50 sessions, it was just a thing, and I was just doing it, you know, I thought it was fine, you know, yeah, I could do that, and it's like, I think it's just, once again, seasons 2 and 3 were pretty efficient. We went through stuff much quicker. So, I think that's kind of where it came in, is when I got to those seasons, when I got past that first, like, however many episodes I think that was, that first season. That's when I learned my lesson finally, and I just got like, fuck it, we're just gonna speed through. But it's done.
I mostly enjoyed Graph.
Yeah.
Although I didn't talk a lot in it, which that's partial on me because it's so late at night, and also it's like there are 2 very, very talkative other people.
I like the 2 of them a lot. I gotta take a break from them for a while.
Yeah.
You know.
I like Joe's character a lot. I like Claude.
Claude grew and actually had, like...
Claude was an actual character.
Yeah.
I don't think Kaz learned anything.
No.
Kaz learned the wrong things.
I think Carrie learned some things, but not really.
Kaz is gonna learn what a knife in the back feels like.
Right into his artificial lungs.
Yeah, right into his lungs.
Just cast anti-magic.
Yeah, someone's just gonna rock up anti-magic. Alright, you suffocate, fine.
Yeah.
I'll have someone dispel his lungs.
You know what you do is you just get a grappler, orc man or something, and then you have a wizard cast anti-magic zone. And the orc man runs in there, grapples him so he can't cast any spells or anything like that, and then he just suffocates because he can't breathe.
Honestly, probably better for the world.
You know, again, it's the thing that, like, I feel like Kaz's character started out, like, so much better and, like, just took weird turns in the way that they did things, you know.
Progressively worse.
Yeah, like, it got progressively more difficult for me to deal with, you know.
Yeah.
And, you
Personal pet peeve of mine is when a player has the, you know, oh, I'm invincible. Because as the DM, you can just make an impossible encounter, and it's totally fine. You know?
Hey, you didn't run away from that encounter, you did.
Yeah. Oh, this encounter, you were supposed to run away from it. You didn't. Well, I guess you have to make new characters now.
Like,
you know?
I knew at some point in time, Children of Wrath became less of a game where there was the actual threat of death unless I narrated it, and more just an adventure for the sake of adventuring, and that was fine. That's a fine type of game to do. It's a very different type of game where you really don't have combats, you know? You have them, where, like, yes, that means there is very little threat of death, actually, for characters. But, you know, influence in the world and honestly stuff that goes on is important, and I feel like that was kind of lost here, because that world influence will have an influence on them and stuff.
Yep.
I don't know. It's fine.
It's a lesson, right?
It's a lesson. It's done.
You learn something from every game you run. Sometimes you learn good things. Sometimes you learn. Well, I don't say you wouldn't learn bad things, but you learn that you did something that was like, you know, now that I've seen the whole picture, that wasn't good, and you can more be aware of something.
Hey, look, I know how to get a story to go faster by skipping out on shit.
Yep.
It's sort of like, from now on, if you guys are like, we want to go pirate, I'm like, great, you just do. You know, in like Buccaneers. It's like, I'm not rolling out any more pirating ever again, honestly. We've done enough of it. You're high enough level that I don't have to I'm not going to do that, unless it's something like important story-wise or something like that.
You attack like a Chelik warship or something. You roll that one out.
Yeah, like it's something like
there's like a high-level commander or something.
If you're going against something crazy, then yeah, sure. But if you're just like, we're going to go raid some merchants, I'm like, great, you raid some merchants. I don't have to roll that out. You're 10th level. You know, merchants will be murdered. There's nothing.
Are like level 5.
Yeah.
Noble ship.
Yeah. They will not stand up to you at this point in time. And that's the thing is, like, yes, you get to things like that where I don't have to roll that encounter out anymore. So.
Yep.
Anyway, anything on Friday for either of you?
I need to talk about Friday.
Oh, I have to talk about Friday?
Your turn.
Okay. We finished our boat trip to this one big city.
Mm-hmm.
Our halfling met their aunt there,
Okay.
and their aunt invited us to stay at their place because family is important to
Yep.
halflings.
Family.
I, being the normal human that I am, was very suspicious of them being like, "Hey, I don't know any of you. Would you like to stay at my house for free?" And
You're
like,
the most human.
that's really suspicious. But
So-
I rolled like a 22, and it's like, I guess they're being honest. That's weird. And then like this painter man came over, and he was like, "My house is haunted by ghosts. You gotta help me."
Go
And
deal
she's
with
like,
it.
"There's no ghosts.
Ghosts aren't real.
Ghosts aren't real."
Their wraiths are shadows, you know?
So, I, as my character, was like, I don't want to help this idiot, but if the party wants to help, yeah, sure, I'll show up. So it's like, yeah, I guess we're gonna go look into this house. So we go to this like small manor house or whatever. I ritual cast 2 spells, basically learned nothing.
Yeah.
And everyone else rolled like really high on their investigation.
I think I rolled
perception.
a fucking like 20 or something. Not 20 or something.
I don't know if you had a nat 20.
I rolled like super high on my religion check.
I think someone got a nat 20 though.
I don't remember who.
Yeah, but like you also did your remember from the grave and got like a 22 on something.
Yeah.
So basically, you learned everything, and I pointed out an area which you probably would have found because I used detect magic.
Yeah.
And then so it's like, oh, it's a banshee. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we can do these things that make it so we won't just die from whale or whatever. We got advantage or immunity depending on which like one we got. I picked the immunity because I was afraid of rolling.
Fair.
Everyone else picked the advantage one because it would have given them like disadvantage on attack rolls. Hey, guess what? I didn't use a single attack roll spell, so it didn't matter for me.
Oh, and it saved every time. So
yeah, so like, we went and talked to this Oracle dude. The Oracle dude was kind of cool.
I like
my character is super secretive, so I wasn't gonna ask him anything. But it was still a cool encounter with everybody else.
Yeah.
You got a weird soul thing.
I got part of my soul. You know, you got to collect those.
Yep, gotta collect them all.
Yep.
Now
I'm even more paladin.
Yeah. You're slightly more alive too.
I'm about a third more alive now.
Yeah, and then we fought a banshee, and even with advantage, our halfling failed.
Yep, which was very funny.
I cast 2 cantrips. It saved on both of them. I rolled a 2 and a 1 on damage for the 2 cantrips I cast, so it really didn't matter all that much. And I basically did nothing for the whole game. It was like 2.5 hours of nothing for me.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. I mean, that's the session. Although we do have a problem if someone keeps asking about buying magic items. Repeatedly said.
Yeah. When it was established that basically only like super nobles and like mega rich people have magic items. And it's like, can we buy magic items here? And it's like,
no, dude.
No.
Buy potion, that's, I guess, magical technically.
Yeah. The potions are like easier to make. It's like, they were like, can I get like some +1 arrows here?
No.
It's like,
no. A potion is just a spell in a bottle, so.
Yeah, potions are a little bit more reasonable. We still don't have enough money to buy any armor because
I have so much fucking money and nothing to spend it on.
Like, do you even need armor?
No, I have studded leather because I'm a dex character.
Oh, yeah, and
I have literally nothing to spend my money on.
I'm a full mage, so I don't really have anything to spend it on.
Well, you know what? I'll just buy a house.
Fuck this continent. We're leaving.
Let's go buy a house.
We're gonna make you a real boy, and then we'll become Merchant Empire.
Yeah, yeah.
The canonical ending of this character.
True. Are you gonna feed this dude some berries you find on this continent?
No, I won't curse you with horrible berries.
Not more berries. Not again.
Yeah, not this
no.
time. Maybe some weird descendant or some second cousin removed or whatever. But yeah, we didn't really do a lot on Friday.
No, we fought a banshee. That was kind of it.
Yeah, it died in like 2 rounds.
Yeah, banshees aren't that hard to kill.
Yep.
All right, cool. Hell of a week in gaming. That's actually kind of what I could say it was. It was a hell of a week in gaming.
There was a lot of game.
Yeah, a big ending for one of a super long game, a high-level one-shot that was absolutely bonkers. Me being forced to take the spotlight in the Thursday game because I guess no one wanted to do anything, and I'm like, well, I have all these things I want to do.
No, they wanted to do Priest Day.
Yeah, they did Priest Day. We killed the Necromancer. Happy Priest Day.
Mm-hmm.
Necromancy is evil, but not really.
Well, it's not illegal, but it is still technically legal.
So yeah, I think that's a good place to end today. Thank you for joining Lightning and Momo.
Yeah.
My schedule currently, I am thinking about doing more Wrath Righteous tomorrow. I did get to chapter 4, but because my normal schedule is going to be of morning streams on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays is going to be taken up, I'm going to try to squeeze like a session or two in to try to get it done. Because honestly, I want to finish it kind of thing. It's sort of like the thing is the game isn't like the worst. It's there's fun parts of it, you know? It's just that the bad parts are very bad, but the fun parts are pretty fun. It's that weird, you know what I mean? I'm sure we've all had games like that where like you're like, I kind of at least want to finish it once because of the fun parts.
Yes, Mad Max, the video game.
Yeah.
I kind of really liked that game. At first, I hated it a little bit because the combat's weird. But then once I kind of learned how to cheese the combat a little bit, it's like, okay, it's fine. But then they took like this hard left-right zigzag mega turn in the story, and it made me actually angry at the game. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I am Mad Max now. I'm pissed. I just want to finish this game and never touch it again. So that's what I did.
Yeah. So I'm kind of at that point where I kind of just want to finish it at least once. You know, I'm pretty good into the game, and honestly, like, it is better in a lot of ways than Kingmaker, you know? And honestly, I don't think they can fuck the story this way they did like Kingmaker. If they don't do that, I'm honestly gonna be fine with it. If the story just ends in a neat kind of like okay way, I might be happy overall.
What's Pathfinder's equivalent to like Bane or something? Not Bane from DC, but Bane is like
the dark god. Well, we're dealing with like demon lords. We got like 3 demon lords: Baphomet, Discussangtabletop, and the one I can't remember the third one because we just were introduced to her recently. Because chapter 4 is you find out that the demon lords are kind of battling amongst each other, also while waging this war. And so we're in the abyss in one of their realms because it's the one that's more like neutral on the battle. So, you know, like when we enter the city, it's like we saw some demons. And they're like, more mortals that are invited by our lord. Stupid demonologists and like cultists. Ugh. You know, and so like,
pretty funny.
Yes, there's a bunch of like demon citizens. They're just called citizens that are just around. They're just like hanging out and just like demons in the city. You know.
Well, that'll change my joke slightly. Mm-hmm. So this is a joke. I have absolutely no idea how the game will end. Mm-hmm. So what's gonna happen at the end is you're gonna fight all 3 demon lords at once, and it's gonna kill the party, and that's the canonical ending of the game.
Honestly, like I can see us because like at the beginning of the game, Discussangtabletop, the locust demon lord, the like demon lord of apocalypses, showed up and like fucked things up in the main city. I can see us fighting that dude and killing him. Honestly, if we're like 20th level mythic rank 10, we could probably take on a demon lord. You know.
Oh yeah.
Probably not. What's his name? Demogorgon, but like one of like the
Demogorgon.
Demogorgon is really...
I know the AP ends. I don't know the game ends. Because there's significant differences between the AP and the...
Oh, there is. I'm sure.
Maybe you marry the demon.
The Hell Knights aren't really a thing in the actual AP.
Yeah. Well, again, like, they were optional. I just took them because, like, I took all the companions that I could get. And so I'm just trying to get decent endings with all of them, at least. Like, canonically, I don't know good, but, like, okay endings. I'm sorry, I looked at it. Serial killer, you cannot have a good ending. There's the I don't kill her ending. That's the good ending.
Just seduce the demon lord, and that's your good
Look,
ending.
I'm gonna go with the queen. I'm gonna kill a demon lord. I'm gonna bang a
both.
queen.
Have the queen and the demon lord. You know, a little demon on the side.
Look, I've got the reformed succubus for that. You know, she might not know anything about it. The reformed succubus has already hinted that she's got feelings for me, but she's like, I can't be with you. I would drain your life force away. And I'm like, really?
Oh my.
I'll just get this magical item that makes it so I'm protected from life force drain.
Honestly, I have a cleric who, with mythic abilities, can have Death Ward cast on me for 24 hours. I can just have him, like, you know, cast some stuff on me.
Dude, I need to go and, you know, date night.
Yeah,
you know,
I need these spells of
I
protection.
don't want to be energy drained, so I need to be immune to it for like 24 hours. Thank you.
At least 8 hours.
Look,
8 hours minimum.
It's 24 hours when you cast it, baby. That's why I've considered switching him to my team, because the 24-hour buffs are pretty nice, because then I can just cast but cleric buffs are like mixed bag, and some of the buffs aren't great, and some of them are around per level, so fuck you. Anyway, but yeah, so I'll be doing more of that, and then Monday I'm going to start with Resident Evil 0. See how that goes. I haven't played that game since I owned it on the GameCube. I don't know how that game's going to go. I'm starting the series for what I have on Steam.
Good luck.
Yeah. Maybe in future years I'll play some of the ones that I'll emulate some of the ones I physically own in other mediums, like the original Resident Evil on PS1. But for now, I have whatever was on Steam. And I got a list. Let's see how this goes. Anyway.
Oh boy.
I don't know how far I'm going to get, honestly, too. If I get to an ending, I might just end the current one and save the rest for like another October, honestly. We'll see how far I go.
They're not super long games. I think Resident Evil 2 was like 3 hours.
Yeah, so I might be able to finish a session or two, depending on how well I do it.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing, you can blast through them.
I've played all of these, so I have a know what you're doing sort of for most of them. But like the newest ones I haven't. Like, I've seen people play through, you know, the Remake 2, Remake 3, Village, and 7. Which do I have Village? Village might be the one I haven't gotten yet.
Village is 7, I think.
Village is 8.
Right, Village is 8. 7 is the house.
I've got the 7, but I might not have Village because I think I was waiting for a good sale.
But do you have boulder punching?
I have boulder punching.
I mean, that is the best one.
I don't think I have 6, though.
Honestly, you're not missing much.
I mean, I physically own 6. I got it for PS3 back in the day.
Yeah, no, I know that one.
PS3.
I played that game when it came out.
I have 2 games for my PS3.
I bought it and was... Oh, no, I got 6. It was part of a package deal for all of them, and it was cheap.
I'm sorry.
Ah.
I guess I'm going to need to find someone and play through that and suffer through that.
Oh, no.
How much does 6 cost?
I got the original...
If it's more than $5, it's too much.
Oh, it's $30. Oof.
Oh, that's too
I got
much.
it on sale, like, as part for $5.
Dude.
It was like $5 as part of it. I remember.
Maybe
in
the winter sale it'll be cheap.
Yeah.
It was
I might not be getting through to it this season though, because I got there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games before then, and I actually might just honestly emulate Code Veronica because I like Code Veronica, and you know,
play the best Resident Evil game, Resident Evil Gaiden.
God, that's for another year when I'm like onto that.
Is that the weird boat adventure?
That's the Game Boy boat adventure. The
other boat adventure is Dead Aim, which is a treat.
Oh, I don't have any. Yeah, I have Revelations. The first one is also a boat adventure.
There are 3 boat games, yes.
There are 3 boat games.
Oops, all boats.
The first one was the Game Boy one.
Boat adventure D&D game.
I actually have seen someone play through the Gaiden though, so I might be actually able to play that one. So, it's not good.
No, it's not good, and you can soft lock like very easily.
I also saw there were some exploits, like if you go fast enough, you can cause zombies not to spawn.
Yep.
Anyway, but yeah, so that'll be Monday, Resident Evil. Wednesday, of course, Buccaneers of Spacccceee, and I'm gonna start looking at what games I want to do next. I've had a couple ideas of what I want to do, but I just have to commit to one of them and start setting it up. You know, for some Honestly, one of the things I was thinking about doing would be a duel series. If I wanted to start Madness of the Land, like the remake of it, I would do the main series, which would be very Buccaneers, so it'd be like three seasons. But I was also thinking of doing like a short like adventure mini-sode kind of thing where I was doing like just adventures from it, where I could do like actual 5th edition set in the same world, but it's the storyline of there's the Adventurers Guild I want to establish in the main game. You're just doing an adventure part of the Adventurers Guild. I could do another Pathfinder. I could do a 5th edition very easily, that one. I could do different systems just as stories from the same world. I thought that was kind of a neat thing to do. So you have the main story, and, you know, as we go on, more little mini stories. That's something I was thinking of doing. Like, but that'd be like companion series. Anyway, again, thank you for joining, Momo and Lightning.
Yeah.
Let's get going. Till next
everyone.
time. Goodbye. Probably back tomorrow morning. Probably, we'll see. Anyway, bye.